What up? How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to number 11 of my live hangouts. Can you believe it? 11 weeks we've all been showing up here on Friday night to hang out, to unify, to hear cool stories from my life, to talk crap, talk about whatever, really. I mean, I guess I never really laid down rules, or there isn't any rules per se, but just as far as how this show works and whatnot, I'll basically talk about anything, but you have to ask me stuff, and you do that by getting in the chat. You got something to say to me? Say it in the chat. I'll address it. But these are a lot of fun. They're pretty laid back. We just try to have a good time. I kind of like to recap everything that's happened with me during the week. Today was a special day for me because I got to hang out with my mom, Andrea Ferentinos. And for all the people that are on my Facebook that saw me wishing my mom a happy 78th birthday this week, thank you for all of you that also wished her a happy birthday. And I was happy that today I got to take her out to lunch. We went to a faux restaurant that she likes, and it was good. It was as good as she said it was going to be. And it was as awesome as I imagined it would be, hanging with my mom and getting to just talk, me and her. And, just discuss how this change in our lives since my stepdad and her husband passed away a few weeks back. And it's just a new chapter in our life. And it was just nice to see her today and give her a big hug. And I'll be seeing more of her. Aside from that, it was a rockin' week as far as music goes. I had two rehearsals this past week. One was with, of course, The Project with James Davis, Dennis Hill, and the boys. And that was a lot of fun. We've been doing those in Pomona area, and it's at Dennis's house. So it's just really awesome. I figured out why I love his house so much. I kind of grew up for a little while. I spent probably 3 or 4 years in that area in the Claremont near there. And so that's why when I'm in that neighborhood, it takes me back to when I was like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And I was kind of in that area. And it just takes me back when you kind of go back to where you're from or whatever. And it's a comforting feeling when I'm driving down the street. I actually had filmed it just for myself, just to investigate. Why do I like his street so much? It looks like my old street. But it's pretty dope. I mean, we're just rehearsing in his garage there, and it's like, just reminds me of the old days. It's kind of punk rock. It's just cool, and we're just getting our songs strong. As I've mentioned before, we do have an agent now, and I am going to run that here. Let me show it. It's AFM Entertainment, and our agent's name is Len. It's Len at afmentertainment.com. You'd also know AFM from Bad Marriage. Those of you that are familiar with Bad Marriage, they are also with AFM. And speaking of Bad Marriage, we're currently right now looking to do tour dates with them, which would be so awesome. Because I know those guys and I'm friends with them. And I think that would be so much fun to go out and start doing shows together. So if you're familiar with them, you're familiar with me, you're familiar with the project. If you go to YouTube and you check out the project, Death of Me, you can hear a really fantastic song. Those of you that listen to the Hair Metal Guru, he has a radio show and he loves the heck out of that song. He plays it all the damn time. He loves it. And so anytime I advertise something for Anthony, I put that song in there, just like I did for tonight for the Erik Ferentinos Unleashed live hangout. Numero 11. 5 p.m. Pacific. It might be 8 p.m. where you are. I stunned everybody this week when I appeared to be less fat than I've been at earlier times in my life. And Stephen Pearcy had mailed me a really cool Mickey RATT jersey. And it was form fit. It made me look even skinnier than I am, to be honest. But anyways, everybody's like, oh, holy crap, that Ozempic's really working out for you, Erik. And no, it wasn't. It wasn't Ozempic. I did it the healthy way, which is to go actually walk across the street to the gym and just hit that elliptical machine and make sure I'm burning like 800 calories a night and just ready to kick ass at all times. Let me get in here and say hi to our friends that made it back here tonight. First on deck tonight, Kevin Smith. He was ready for the freak off, the Friday night freak off, that is. How you doing, Kevin? Always happy you're here. Thank you for always promoting my shows and all that good stuff. Live number 11. That's right, my friend. We got here. I saw Pearcy on YouTube playing the Roxy. Damn it, they are tight. Yeah, man, these guys are heavy metal legends. And it's so cool to see Carlos Cavazzo up there, Warren DeMartini, of course, Blas Elias and Matt Thorne from the solo band. So when it's tight, I could imagine why it's got our band in there. So no, it's super awesome. What's super cool, especially, is that Matt had this opportunity to reconnect with these guys, because I was just a little kid when RATT was making it big, but Matt was there the whole time. He's even helped write songs like Back for More and other ones that would surprise you. And so he has a history with RATT. He was the original, one of the original bass players in Mickey RATT. So this is a full circle thing for him. And of course, I'm super happy for him whenever he gets to play with Warren and Carlos. It's super cool. And I've always contended that, man, we can all win here. We can all share Steven, right? throughout the year. And that's pretty much what's going to happen. As you guys know, we do have 5 gigs at least for the solo band. So you will see me out with Pearcy this year, and you know that we're working on a record for you guys. So it's all good. Let me see. Kevin Smith, the new Megadeth rules. Yeah, Dave Mustaine has a very strong work ethic, and I don't think he would ever put out a piece of crap. He just doesn't seem like the guy that would do that. That would just make him angry at himself, and I just don't see that happening. You're always going to get a top-notch album out of Dave, and you're going to get the best cutting-edge guitars out there. What else we got? Is that a Talfin? I thought the Megadeth was great also. Is there what's your favorite Megadeth and what's your least favorite? I mean, I used to love Megadeth when I was a kid. Peace Sells was that was really groundbreaking for us back in the day. I mean, there was, of course, a lot of thrash metal going on, but Megadeth kind of took it to a different mathematical place with the whole thing. Like, you had to be pretty damn good to be playing some Megadeth stuff. Anybody could probably play some Metallica, which is why they were so awesome. But Megadeth, that's a whole different animal. All right, I think I had the banner going long enough here. Maybe we'll pull that back out later. Yeah, I'll get back to some more comments here. Let me see. Steve Lasley, what's new, Eric? Well, same old stuff. I mean, just rocking. Rocking is my business, and business is good. That's all I could say. Spicoli 420, we're live, mother trucker, fired up, rock star. Well, if Spicoli's here,
and his homeboy. I know that, dude.
I gotta drop all the Spicoli drops.
Bud, let's party.
That's right. All right. Moving along. I gotta say hi to my people. You guys don't mind, do you? I mean, come on. We waited all week for this. Thomas Bailey. Hi, Joe, a real American hero. That's right. Speaking of G.I. Joe, Dahlia Dark made one of my fantasies come true this past week on the Fright Bite. Now, I don't know if you guys had noticed the motivation for her new villain character, Bearharneck, but it's taken from G.I. Joe. It's inspiration for that, of course, if you were like me and you're way into G.I. Joe, the Baroness. And, I sent her a picture. She's younger, Dahlia Dark is younger than the Count by, a few thousand years, I think. But he was curious, if she had ever seen the Baroness, and he sent a picture of you know how the GI Joes back in the 80s, the Hasbro ones had like the explosion going, and then have the GI Joe guy in front. And I sent the cartoon that had the explosion with the Baroness on it. I go, you know who that is? And she's like, is it the Baroness from GI Joe? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, here, can you please come up with something? Because I knew she could look like that. And sure enough, she did. I'm starting to do this really funny thing. All the TV shows I grew up on that were, anytime they would start, they would always do like a previously on Law and Order. Cha-ching! They would have something like that. And I decided I'm going to start doing that on the Fright Bites. And since I'm so goddamn good at editing shit, I'm going to play it for you guys right now. And at the beginning here, you can Spock Dahlia Dark as Bear Her Neck based on the G.I. Joe Baroness. On the Fright Bite.
Uncle Sam needs you both to help us locate one of our associates.
Ravencroft, goddammit. Take it easy on yourself. Just give me the eyeball.
I'm a Von Brain Scan super vampire, and you're finished.
Dahlia, look out! Ah! Dahlia! He's trying to get my neck.
Do you understand?
I got vampire eyes.
Yeah. And for those not aware, I did create the Fright Bite theme. That is not AI. I had to perform everything you hear there. The guitars, the bass, the weird other instruments you probably aren't even aware of that are going on in the background. But I'm anti-AI when it comes to songwriting. Anything you hear, none of it will ever come from that. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Okay, Black Phillip, capital E, looking svelte. And happy birthday to Mama Ferentinos. Mom rules. Thank you very much, Black Phillip. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Sexy times.
Speaking of Mama, you know, Black Phillip loves Mama Brooke. And as you guys know, it's always sexy times, whether it's Erik Ferentinos Unleashed on Friday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific, or if it's the Fright Bite with Count Cracula and Dahlia Dark every Tuesday at 6 p.m. You know.
Sexy times.
But being that we love Mama Brooke so much, I was like, damn it, we need more Mama Brooke drops. And Count Cracula dropped a few of these. If you weren't at the Fright Bite, I'm gonna drop a couple of these on you now. And here's the first one.
Wasn't she pretty, princess?
Ooh, isn't she pretty, princess? As you know, Mama Brooke, she is an older lady that has a YouTube channel called Mama Brooke, and you can subscribe to it. Especially if you miss your grandma. If you don't have a grandma in your life anymore, she could fill the void for you. And she basically, it's like having a grandma on video. Okay? It's like having a grandma right there for you, telling you about her whole day and working in her garden, and then she goes to the same thrift store every day, and she'll like look at the same different, like she'll take back some plates, she'll buy some new plates. If she sees a little doll or a piece of china, you know, she'll be like,
Wasn't she pretty, princess?
right? And then now when she's like, she's still, I think she might even go on dates, I don't know, but she still gets her hair did and still gets her nails done. And when she's feeling confident and she's looking in the mirror after getting ready, she'll drop this pretty princess.
Yeah, pretty princess.
Yeah, pretty princess. Let me see. I want that one again.
Yeah, pretty princess.
Yeah, pretty princess.
Sexy times.
Yeah, it's all good, man. I love it. So yeah, Mama Brooke, give her channel a visit. Give her a follow. We had some other new villains, you know, speaking of Spicoli. We had Fangoli show up as a new villain, and you can be sure that
Dude.
there's going to be some kind of battle, because it seems like there's a bunch of super vampires that Dr. Von Brainscan has been working on at the lab, and apparently there was another lab leak this past week, and Bear Her Neck and Fankoli escaped with some kind of sunscreen lotion that lets vampires daywalk. And as of right now, this last week, Cracula and Dahlia weren't able to go after him because he surfs all day and they couldn't go in the sun to go get him. So that was unfortunate. And the guy took all the sunscreen with him when he escaped from the lab. So Dr. Von Brainscan and Dr. Ivana Howell are currently trying to get some sunscreen together for them so they can retrieve him and bring him back to the lab. So I definitely suggest that all of you are here next Tuesday to watch that and see how it all unfolds. Other than that, what else did I do? Yesterday was pretty dope. I was at the NAMM show, and I know people all over the world fantasize about the NAMM show and how awesome it is. And it's been going on for, man, I feel like it's been going on for 50 years, probably my whole life. And when did it peak? I mean, the NAMM show to me kind of peaked maybe, I don't know, in the early 2010s maybe, where it just seemed like the biggest it could be. I feel like since COVID, it's downsized a little bit. And just with the death of music in general, you can feel that it's still a big event at the Anaheim Convention Center, but it's not the event it used to be. It used to be like 2 floors of stuff. Now it appeared to me like it was all kind of on one deck. I could be wrong about that, but it looked like it was all kind of contained in a smaller area. I did put a little blip on my Facebook. I'll play it for you guys today. How I got to NAMM this year was through Mahaffay amplifiers. And I had Tris Mahaffay on the show. You guys might have checked out a few weeks back. And also Steve Rosen, who did the Tone Chasers Understanding Edward Van Halen book. And Steve's super cool. He's got a million stories. He's a writer from back late 70s. Still putting out books today, obviously. And so it was super cool to see him. Basically got a NAMM pass. I could even go back if I didn't have so much stuff to do. I might still pop back there, possibly. I don't know. Maybe Sunday, maybe not. I have so much to do in the next 4 days. But I did go, as I was supposed to represent Mahaffay Amplifiers. He had some great players out at his booth this week. So if you are there, go head over to Hall D and check out the amps that he has set up. I jammed. I went over, busted out some RATT riffs. I didn't get to film myself while I was doing it, but I mean, I'll pull up some more stuff as it comes up. But here's my little behind the scenes from my first day. That's the his amp. Now I made sure to take my blood pressure medicine right before I went, because for people like me that just freak out when there's just a bunch of cacophony of like sounds going on, the NAMM show is very just, it makes my anxiety levels just skyrocket. So it was good I took that, because I'd probably have a stroke just walking into this place. I pulled that shirt out of the hamper before I left. That's why the collar was all jacked up. One thing I'll say, when you're a young rocker guy and you do get to go to the NAMM, man, you will feel really bad about yourself, because the best players from all around the world are at this thing. I mean, look at these guys. These guys look like they're about, 20 years old, 21 years old. They're just ripping jazz over there like it's nobody's business. That guy's pretty good. It's just it's the Anaheim Convention Center. It's always been like this. Everybody has a booth, and it's just, you don't really hear exactly what's going on until you get up to it. But as I was making my way to the Mahaffay booth, I was just kind of filming anybody that was playing live at the time. I don't even know half these people are. If you guys recognize anybody you see in the video today, please throw it in the chat, and I'll give them kudos or whatever. Orange amps are pretty awesome too. I mean, that every amp is a tool to do something with. You know what I mean? Do I still play the Splon? Of course, I still play my Splon amps. I got 2 full stacks of Splon amps. I got the Splon amps in my Tone X when I tour. You know what I mean? But depending on the style of music, and I play everything. Anything that's got a guitar in it, I play it, and I need a whatever amp for that sound or whatever guitar to produce that sound. I play so many different types of guitars depending on the tone I'm looking for or what type of music it is. There's so many good kids. It's funny. I mean, like I said, I don't take rock and roll too seriously. I'm a rock guy, and where I'm most comfortable is on stage in front of thousands of people with like walls of stacks of amps turned up really loud. That's where all of a sudden I fall into my happy place. I'm not really somebody to sit there by myself like noodling for whatever. But I play the music that I grew up on. But these kids today, man, are so young and so technically gnarly. It just trips me out. I love it though. You know what I mean? I love it.
Rainbow over NAMM.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been witness to I feel like 20 rainbows in the last Am I turning gay? Is that what's going on? No, there was a rainbow outside of NAMM. It was raining. Did I mention that? It's Southern California, and I'm headed up to NAMM, and it starts pouring out. But I did get to see a rainbow at the end. That's Triss right there. That's Mr. Mahaffay. That's Steve Rosen. That's his book Tone Chaser back there, and that's just us. That was his little booth area. He's a super cool dude. Do you guys remember Troy? Has anybody been following the Stephen Pearcy band for 25 years? When I first joined the band, way back in the day, T. Roy was the original bass player. He just turned 65. I'm 53. I turned 53 recently. But yeah, those guys were all older. But he looks great. He looks the same. But he has his Big Johnson bass company. And I'd forgot that he was even gonna. I didn't think I'd run into T. Roy, but he was at the NAMM. Of course, I went over to him to say hey, and it was very cool to see him. Man, we have done a lot of miles together on the road over probably a decade, back from 2001 to probably 2011 or something like that. So many miles, man. Boy, there was one tour I remember doing with Troy. We did, and Steven. It was 6 months on the road, 6 months in an Econoline van. Brutal. Can you imagine an Econoline van that's got it was a rental that has no shock absorbers whatsoever. You're in this thing. We were staying in hotel rooms, but you're driving around in this thing doing 10, 12-hour dives. We might have even been with Artists Worldwide at that time. And that's all I'll just say that right there. But Artists Worldwide has still in business. And of course, they're friends of ours too. But it appears sometimes when Artists Worldwide books a tour that there's a dartboard and they're just throwing darts and you find yourself doing circles and there's not much sense to it, but it's because they're just doing their best to add shows onto your little tour or whatever. And that's just how it goes. I understand the business. Some of the bigger agencies, can get you those shows a little easier or make the routing a little easier than the smaller, than ones that are smaller. And back then, we're talking 20 years ago. I'm sure Artist has grown since then, but back then it was just all over the place. We would be doing 10 to 17-hour drives on occasion. So pretty gnarly. Let's get back to my peeps here. Good. Well, I missed a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of people here tonight. All right. Going. What do we got? I bought this. Spicoli's saying he bought the Megadeth album and he likes the song Another Bad Day track so far. I'm going to have Another Bad Day. God damn it. Another bad day. I hate when there's consecutive bad days, and so does Dave Mustaine, apparently. I'm going to have to check that song out. It's Alfin. If you like old Megadeth, check out Morning High. And he's not talking about a Wake and Bake. He's talking about what? What is he talking about? Is he talking about when you're like, you're happy because someone died? That's what I'm guessing. That sounds like a Megadeth-y kind of title or something. Michael Andrew, 1969. Yeah, man. New Megadeth kicks ass. Wow, so you guys are like in a heavy mood. I like it. I like it. Maybe I'll have to play you a snippet of Stephen Pearcy music or something if you're good to me tonight. I don't know. If you're not good to me, maybe I won't. Skylar B is back in his house. Hello, everyone. Hey, Skylar. Steve Easley, what's new? Eric, well, you know, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff. Who else did I run it? Oh, you know who I ran into at NAMM? Logan Steckler, who his band opened for us, I think in the end of around 2024, and I had noticed he was a great guitarist then, and he lives in Nashville, and he's also good friends with Sam that works for the Pearcy band and the DeMartini, and he was out at NAMM, and I did get to see him. He's a really good kid, and I did connect with him and get to say hey, and he's gotten to tech for Warren DeMartini these last months, and I just thought, how cool is that? He's only 25 years old, guys. I mean, that's pretty dope. I got the gig with Stephen Pearcy when I was 29, so you know, I wasn't so young anymore. I was still young, but you know, not as young as this kid. So he's definitely on the right path to be sure. All right, yeah, I read Spicoli's. All right, let me see here. Maybe I should take the sunglasses off. I could read better. Right? Mm-hmm. What does this say here? This looks long. Jerome Davis loves Disney. Hi, Eric. I have some great news. I'm going to be living my Disney dream. I'm moving to Golden Oaks. It's housing in Disney. My boyfriend surprised me. Hashtag best BF in the world. That's pretty dope. I was kind of, I mean, Jerome, where the NAMM convention is here in Anaheim, California, is of course where Disneyland is. And I had a park at Disneyland, believe it or not. It wasn't that far of a walk from the convention center, and the price wasn't too bad. As you pull in there, they go, "Are you here for the NAMM show or are you here for Disneyland?" And because I saw the parking prices, $40 to park, I was like, "Oh man!" And there I'm here for the convention. They're $25, and that's acceptable to me. $25. That's about the most I'm willing to pay without getting too grumpy about it. So I parked at the Disney parking and then walked over to NAMM. So I was very close to Disney, and I thought you'd appreciate at least hearing that. Okay, rebuilding rocket ships. My condolences. Yeah, it's a bummer. My mom's going through that phase right now where she's you know, going through all my stepdad's stuff. He was a writer, and he has just tons of poetry books and random, like, she'll be going through books and find like random poems on napkins and things. And I get it. You know, I had a close friend of mine that back in 2013, he died, and he was renting a room from a mutual friend. And of course, all his stuff was there. My friend was worried he needed to keep the room rented. They needed to move his stuff. He ended up giving me a good amount of his things. And I understand what it means to spend time with a close person in your life's belongings and whatnot. And just, it's cathartic in a way, and kind of helps you get through the grieving process and spend time focusing on them. And then you can kind of go through it and move on from there. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had to deal with this. We all have friends, especially if you're around my age, man, there's no escaping the people that you love and care about are going to go bye-bye, just like we all will someday. And that's why it's important to live our best lives and treat everybody as good as possible. Thomas Bailey, Kevin Smith, it really does sound good, though. These guys are all about the Megadeth tonight. Jerome Davis, love the hair, Eric, and you look like a punk rock star. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna do no Ozempic stuff. I mean, I did it the old-fashioned way, man. Just hit that gym every day. I got to be honest, I was pretty pissed off the last couple of months anyway, so it wasn't really hard to do. But it's a healthier, when you have anger and resentment or whatever in your life, it's better to hit the gym and do it that way. It's healthier for your brain and your body. Plus, I'm like, just for my health, you know what I mean? I gotta like keep my weight down. I was getting up to about 200 pounds. That's not good. Down to 175 right now, and I could lose probably a little more. No, I don't know. I know I could keep this going. As long as I keep going on gym, I can keep this going. I still eat a lot, believe it or not. I eat all kind. I'm not really on some special diet. If I did, I'd probably look like Bruce Lee or something. Stony Jackson, let's go. Pray for me with this snowstorm hitting us Sunday in the Poconos. Oh man, yeah, it does snow up there. I bet you can't go anywhere some days for a while. Yeah, pray for Stony. Oh my God. My grandparents, I've told this, were from the Poconos, so I have great memories being up there. But yeah, it can get cold. Rebuilding rocket ships. Very cool. I hope you can make it out east. Yep, I saw some of the dates they were looking at. This is, if you're just joining us, the project Death of Me on YouTube and Bad Marriage. Tommy Skio of Tesla fame. Great dudes. We have the same agent, Len, at ALM Entertainment. If you would like to see these bands, request us, you know. You guys got to do that. You got to call your venues, and that's how we're going to get out there. David Carrasco, 666. Can you smell what Erik is cooking? Yeah. Probably making pizzas. I like to put on a wife beater and make pizzas. And you think I'm joking. I got, before the NAMM yesterday, I'm like, hey, I got to get up and make a pizza. So I like to put on a wife beater to do it. Unique Davis Sovereign. Hey, Erik. Hey, Unique. Gotta give Unique a hey. Jerome Davis. Mickey RATT shirt, I see. Yeah. People really love that, man. People love the Mickey RATT shirt. Isn't that nice of Steven? Like, I just kind of went out to the mail and he had this cool. Good thing I lost weight because it was a medium. You know him. He only has like smalls and mediums. That guy's pretty skinny. But yeah, no, I was like, oh, cool. I actually fit in it. He's given me shirts before. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I'll use that as a sock or something. So that was, it's always good when your stuff fits. Rebuilding rocket ship, I need. What you have, looking good. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I got here is a gym right across the street, and I'm lazy. No, I mean, after my heart attack, I moved in here 3 years ago, like right after my heart attack. And to be honest, I wasn't like, oh, gee, let me go out and start running marathons. You know what I mean? I was scared. I mean, I'm like, can my heart handle it? You know, so, but then what was happening was because I was apprehensive, if you will, about exercising, then it was like starting to gain weight. And then when you're out on the road and you're eating all that shit, it doesn't take much to blow up. And so a few months back, I don't know how long ago, 4 months ago, I got one of those nuclear tests done. And that's when I found out that I'm in great freaking health and my heart doesn't have any damage aside from that's got stents in there or whatever. I mean, I do have heart disease. I don't want to sugarcoat it. But as far as how it's working, good. They took me off medications and stuff. And it was pretty much, to me, that was the green light to kick ass and like get back into shape and do all that. So far, so good. Eternal Servant. Happy 78th birthday, Mama Erik. Hello, Erik. I didn't know you also play for Taikedo, but looked a little older. Ha 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 ha. Do I look like the guy in Taikedo? I didn't know who that was, and I don't know his name. However, when I was on the last Monsters of Rock cruise, the singer from Taikedo was there, and he was kind of the house dude, singing with I'm going to forget the other guitarist name. I'll remember him later. But they were like when you first wake up in the day and you go out onto the pool deck, they'll have music playing from like 10 in the morning, and he was an amazing singer. That guy from Taikedo, that guy kicks ass on vocals, and he's not a young dude, but man, he throws down. It was pretty impressive. Skylar B, ready for a big snowstorm. Skylar, you on the East Coast too? Batten the hatches, everyone. Did you chop extra wood for the wood burning stove? Do you guys have wood burning stoves out there? I remember in New Jersey when where I was born, my parents got a wood burning stove. It was pretty good. I mean, it was like too hot to be near when it was on, but it definitely warmed the house. It was obviously it was a duplex, so or a, 2-story, excuse me, not duplex, but a 2-story, and so it would keep the house pretty warm. I remember though. Remember when you're a kid, you got those like rubber boots, like they look like army boots, and maybe they got some furry stuff in them or whatever, but they're mostly rubber. And I remember I'd come back from playing outside in the snow, and my boots would be just full of ice and snow and stuff. And I go, oh, I'll set them on top of the wood burning stove. Yeah. About 5 minutes later, there was just like 2 green puddles sitting there on top of the wood burning stove. It was, not a good idea, but you live and learn. RTD 275. Hello from South Texas. Hell yeah. What's up, South Texas? Let me see. David Mills. Yo, man. You know I know David Mills. Me and David Mills are Doobie Brothers, yo. John Evans, 1969. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to all you guys, man. I mean, I know most of you, if not all of you, are working day jobs, and man, it's brutal. You're just doing everything you got to do to pay the bills and keep your family happy. And I mean, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of work. It's not getting easier. Getting our asses kicked at the grocery store, and you just gotta tighten up, man. I guess we just gotta be frugal. I mean, I've been frugal all my life as a musician. You have to be, So it's. Today was an interesting day, just taking my mom out. That's not like me to even have money to go and take my mom out or something. But I was, my life's just kind of gone this way. I went from being a homeless teenager to, being at a place where I live on the beach now and can take my mom out to lunch at least, or whatever. So that's kind of cool. You just can't really give up. Like Chris Holmes says, right? Chris Holmes of Wasp, never give up. And that's also a kind of Buddhist way of thinking as well. Spicoli, I'm on the weight loss trip too, brother. That's what's up. Yeah, man. What's scary is when you go to the grocery store, I feel like the grocery store is designed to kill you. Like the amount of good food that you should be eating would only be on one aisle. If you put it all together, it would be on like half of one aisle. Like I feel like 75% of the grocery store is bullshit food that we should not be eating. It's just all cheap processed stuff that could sit on the shelf for like 2 years. And then they got their small deli department that has the proteins and the meats or whatever. And then you have your dairy department, and even those cheeses and all that stuff's process too. And now we got to worry about what else they're sneaking into all this stuff. There's a couple of theories that I've kind of gone with, or maybe suspicions or what have you. One is I've never put myself as a donor for medical stuff because I kind of I'm superstitious, or I think that they're not going to save my life. They'd rather harvest my organs out and make like $1 million than save me. So I never signed up for that thing. And the other thing is I never eat too healthy. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but like I said, I'm pretty sure the powers that should not be, none of them want us to, they definitely don't want us to live past like 65. You know what I mean? I think that if we all ate healthy and exercised, we would live to like 150, and on the top end, maybe 200. I think humans weren't designed to like make it past 200, but I think a lot of you would be surprised how long a human can actually live if they treat their body as a temple. Of course, some genetic stuff could be involved. But when it comes to health foods, I've always felt like, man, if I wanted to make sure people as a whole weren't living longer, I definitely would want to poison the health foods. Like you definitely want to get them because they're the ones that are gonna hold out the longest. The other ones that eat the super junk foods, you don't have to worry about them. They're gonna be dead by 50. But the ones that eat the health foods, they can live to 200. So you definitely want to poison the health food too. So what does that mean? That means that I go somewhere in between junk food and health food. That's where I thrive, right? And same with like people that say that, because I live in California and I know everyone that doesn't live in California is like, F California, people, and you're not wrong. There's probably the most mental people in the country live here, but that's no reason for me to leave. I love California. California is awesome. From Northern California is a whole different vibe down to Southern California here. Right, we're of course right above Mexico, and I got the beach vibes. I'm here in Oceanside. It's a lot to live here. However, I mean, it's like 72 degrees all year round, and I could live anywhere. I've toured all over. Okay, where all you guys live. If I had to live where you live, I would make the best out of my life there. I could be happy. Happiness is a choice, and I could always choose to be happy. I've had good times in all your locations, but this is where I've spent the majority of my life. I've lived here for over 40 years, and this is just a comfort to me to live here. This is just what I'm used to, and I'm not going to leave because there's a bunch of psychopaths that live here. I'm staying here, and I think the people, those of you that left, please come back so we can maybe have it half normal people, half psychopaths, or whatever. But then I also always give credit to California because they helped me when I had my heart attack, and they paid for that. They paid for my surgery. So I'm forever in debt to California. And you'll never hear me talk crap about the state of California, only the people. That's okay. What else we got here? What you have looking good. Eternal Servant. Sorry, I kind of lost my track here. Thanks for bearing with me. Skylar B. I saw them at Mohegan Sun for the first DeMartini reunion. They were good. Yeah, I noticed. I watched that too. And you know who sounded really good on that one was Blas Elias. Like, he had his drum triggers, and I thought that was the most epic I've heard his drums was in that Mohegan Sun. And truth be told, I wasn't mad about it, but when I watched the performance, I go, well, that's the end of my career. It just sounded so good, his drums. But you know what? The solo band's great too. I mean, we don't have the whole sound team and all that stuff, but we'll sound good anywhere. We won't give a shit. Stephen Pearcy's a very fearless man, and I love that. He taught me to be fearless and not sweat the small stuff and just put on a show, man. Not overthink it. It's rock and roll. It's not meant to be super complicated. Rebuilding rocket ships, inspiring me to get active again. I've been trying to inspire all you guys the whole time. I've said this for 11 weeks, guys. I've said, let's do this together. When I started Erik Ferentinos Unleashed, I was fat still. Okay. I said, look, I told you I had a goal, and it was to get down to the weight that I am now. And then I was going to hit that gym every day, and I was going to take it back. I was going to take my health back. And I told you guys to do it with me because we always got to show up here together and help each other get through our lives and in a healthy way. And quality of life is so important. You know what I mean? Just habits like working out. It at first it sucks. At first it sucks to do it. You don't want to do it. You would rather just sit around and procrastinate or play on the computer or play on your phone. But once you do it for about a month, you start to look forward to it. Something changes inside of you. Also, you start to notice that you start looking a little better, and that motivates you in itself. You're like, man, I want more of this. You're like, oh, hey, not to be vain about it, but just, you're so used to looking, like a slob that you're like, it's nice when you could, potentially go to the beach. I mean, maybe in 2006, this will be the first time I take my shirt off in my entire life. You know what I mean? I was always able to kind of fake it, dress a certain way to kind of hide my flabs. But it was time to just get serious and get at it. What else we got? Kimberly, looking good. Erik, ready to party. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Black Phillip. Not breaking your stones, but your mohawks looking a little thicker to me, too. You getting hairstyle tips from Count Cracula. Beautiful maid. Well, thank you. Yeah. Healthy living. Oh, Spicoli, thank you, sir. Anybody cool stop by the studio yet? Well, I'm hearing that one of my bald brothers might be might be showing up to the studio soon. Spicoli through a super chat. Is it time? Should I throw a clip of a Pearcy jam from this of me and Matt throwing some Pearcy stuff? I only have something from a few weeks ago. I actually did another session that I didn't film any of that was even gnarlier, but this was when I first went up. I think what was it, a month ago? And we were just laying down like the first. I think I was laying down like the first four songs, and these are just like the basic tracks. You're hearing like my drum machine in the background, and now I'm just kind of redoing the guitars. Matt will throw some bass, and then, of course, later Steven will sing. A real drummer will play over it. But this is the vibe. If you guys were sitting at MT Studios, which doesn't stand for Mountain Studios, it stands for Matt Thorne, the great Matt Thorne. It's Matt Thorne Studios, and he has an amazing studio. And this is just me and him. This is how we make records, and this is just me and him sitting in there working on the new Pearcy. Here we go. Yeah. I don't want to give away too much. Because then you know what's going to happen? I'm going to get a copyright strike about 6 months from now. I actually got not a copyright strike on the last Fright Bite, but for those of you that didn't catch the last Fright Bite, Count or Dahlia Dark is always asking Count Cracula to play her music and whatnot, and he's been trying to like figure out a way to do that sounds good, and he's tried a couple different things. He initially did a song cover from Sublime, Smoke Two Joints, but it was called Suck Two Necks, and he tried doing a karaoke, excuse me, where he basically had the background track going through StreamYard and then was just gonna sing live over it, like live karaoke, and that didn't work because StreamYard's transmitting from another place. So just that few second delay was causing Count Cracula's vocals to land on the wrong thing. So then the next thing I tried was stereo. There was like a stereo mix on StreamYard that they say is for musicians. And I have a 2-channel kind of interface mixer, not a mixer, but kind of just I guess an interface, so I can plug a guitar in if I need to, or even this microphone I'm using right now hits an interface before it goes to the actual brand new Mac Mini. Thank you guys that have helped me pay for that. But there was a stereo switch, and now that's fine. It did make my guitar that I plugged in. I had a 12 string, and Count Cracula played it, and that sounded in stereo, and the guitar sounded okay. But then my voice the whole night was only coming out of the left, and that was driving me insane. This last week on the Fright Bite, Dahlia Dark challenged Count Cracula to play a song, and she's so beautiful, and he did not want to let her down. You know, he didn't want to live with the regret of knowing that this beautiful woman wanted him to play a song, and he pussed out and didn't do it, right? So he just picked up an Epiphone acoustic guitar that was sitting there, and he decided to serenade Dahlia Dark with a little bit of Smashing Pumpkins to pay tribute to the head vamp Billy Corgan, who ruled the frickin' 90s. And of course, if you're my age, I turned 18 in 1990, and those times were so great. And Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness came out, and they had all these bitchin' songs on there. And Disarm. For some reason, Count Cracula just thought he would disarm Dahlia because, you know, it was a way for him to connect with her as friends and to let each other know that they are so much the same in a lot of ways. And so he performed this song, and she loved it. And she actually brought her to tears, which was pretty sweet. But the next day I was almost brought to tears when I saw a counter or a claim on it. And I was like, oh no. And I looked, but it was different than other ones that I've gotten, because I've gotten usually what it'll be is on the dollar sign that'll be on my YouTube or whatever. Instead of it being a green dollar sign, it'll be a red dollar sign. And it'll say, you ain't getting nothing from this because this song belongs to you know who. Now, currently, there's only one song like that, and it's a song I wrote. It's All That I Want, which is, if you're not familiar, it's on this channel. If you go to my playlist for music videos, it's on there, and it's kind of a, I don't want to call it an unreleased track. I think you can download it from iTunes, but it was just kind of a demo. It was never put on a record, but I had put that up on my Facebook because I do get paid for it on the back end, but as far as on my channel, no. It's a red dollar sign. That's the only one I have like that, and that goes to Steven and myself, but not through my channel. But this one where I did the Smashing Pumpkins, I just wanted to thank Billy Corrigan, because he could have hit me by taking the whole thing or striking me, which would have been a strike against my channel, but he chose to share it. That's where I'm going with this. That was very cool. I saw like the two green things. You're sharing it. It was like a 50-50 split on the song. So that's pretty cool. So if you watch the last Fright Bite and you want to see Count Cracula serenade Dahlia Dark with the Smashing Pumpkins song Disarm, I'm getting paid and Billy Corgan's getting paid from it. So that is good news. But thank you, Spicoli, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I don't beg for money here on this show, but obviously for musicians nowadays, we had to totally change our whole deal. That's why you see so many guitarists playing on YouTube, because there really isn't money for us anymore. The amount of streams that it takes to like see anything is ridiculous. I'll give an example. I know it's been like 5 or 6 years since the Stephen Pearcy record has come out, but as far as the amount of money I get from like broadcast music, BMI, from like online streaming and stuff for the Stephen Pearcy records, no shit, it's like $100 a year. You know what I mean? It's nothing. And so by doing YouTube, I mean, I'm certainly making way more than that through the YouTube channel. So this was a pivot that had to be done just to keep me in a position where I could be creative. And that's not just through music. You know, I mentioned today that I sincerely love doing the Fright Bite. As you can see, I'm collecting eyeballs over here. But if I could be Count Cracula like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I would, because that guy's just fun. He's just a fun dude, and he gets to be everything that I'm not, you know. And I would love to be him, but I get to be him every Tuesday. And for those that are confused what the show is, then just don't watch it, because you probably just don't get it. But if you love, you know, goofy horror stuff, you know, you'll like it. It's just a spoof on a podcast, but I don't think anybody else is doing something like that. So I'm going to keep doing it. And Dahlia loves it. And so we're going to keep doing it. And I know that there's at least 25 of you guys that totally love it. And so as long as you keep showing up, Dolly's going to keep showing up. Cal Cracula's going to keep showing up. Dr. Von Brainscan's going to keep showing up. Dr. Ivana Howell will always be showing up. And there'll be a whole array of villains. Sugar Smack's been banished recently. He makes people eat really gross stuff. Let's see. Raven. What was the last guy? I'm already forgetting their names. God damn it. I'm going to have to put this back on because I hate that. I'm going to have to remember. Make this back. Ravencroft. That's right. It just came back to me as I was playing the video. Ravencroft. We got Fang Coley is the newest. This is the newest guy, Fang Coley. We don't know. There's going to be some battle with him coming up with Fang Coley. So be here Tuesday for that. What else we got here? Tyrone Extraordinaire. What's happening, Tyrone? Hey, y'all. I'm fashionably late as always. Whoa. You can always watch the replay, too. Check out what you missed. But we're glad you're here. We're glad you made it here safe. Spicoli, Dahlia is hot. It's no joke. I mean, with all due respect. But it's one of those situations where I'm like, It's almost like Weird Science movie where I feel like I'm the dork from Weird Science and I got Kelly LeBrock or, like just this supermodel, that's on the show that just came out of nowhere. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like it's another example of me thinking that this world is completely fake, that it's like that Jim Carrey movie where it's all a television show being filmed. Because it's just this life that I have is just too weird for it to just be natural. I'm like, wait, this chick just shows up out of nowhere, or like the same week I'm thinking about starting Fright Bite, and it's just, and she looks like this, and she's like as into it as I am, and she's like putting all this work and effort into everything. It was so cool. One thing that I'll share that's not freaking cool is if you've been following the poster. The poster thing, which I do have those around. Let me grab a poster here so I can show you what I'm talking about. Oh gosh, where did I do with it? Okay, this is it, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah. So I made these posters, right? And I was super excited about this because she and I are going to sign these and get them out. Now the tubes that I got to ship these showed up right away. They're from a company you probably heard of called Uline, which is the letter U and Line. Turns out they're in the same state. They're just up in Ontario here or somewhere. Not Canada, but Ontario near Los Angeles or what have you, Riverside. So I got those tubes right away. Now, according to this company, I was getting the posters made. I was supposed to receive the posters on the 22nd or 23rd. Now, I didn't realize when I ordered from this online company, 360 Printing Online or something, that they're actually in Portugal. And I'm like, I go, okay. I wasn't really, I just kind of went off the price that they told me, and it was it wasn't expensive. I mean, I don't want to throw out everything that I'm paying here, but it was a pretty low price. The website was a little difficult to work with, but I did get it figured out. And there was a deadline to get it figured out. Like you had to have your changes made by like 2:00 the next day. And I did that. And I did see it got shipped out. But I just happened today to kind of look on Reddit to see what people were saying about this company. And oh my God, this is not going to end well. I could just I have never seen so many bad reviews for a company and horror stories about, what they paid for, whether it was business cards, stickers, or there was only a couple people that got posters, and they were all complaining about those too. Like the one thing that's going to happen, I think the shipment is going to get held up, and I'm going to be expected to pay like some amount of money, like not necessarily a lot of money, because I think it was like an under $100 order that I made, so I'm sure it's not going to be too crazy as far as tariffs go or whatever. But somebody shared a story where they had to pay the tariff, but then they got some bill from like UPS for like $100-something for just based on weight and them having to hold on to it for whatever time. And I was going, oh my God, I might as well have just like gone to Walmart to get this done or something down the street. Like by the time, it's just another bad deal. I mean, luckily I didn't go too crazy with the amount that I got. I kind of did I spent enough money. Like when you go to a casino and you're not a degenerate gambler, you're not going to like go gambling with more than, $100. Like you're willing to lose $100 on this bet. And that's about where I was at. Like this thing, if I end up losing my ass on this, I'm not going to lose more than $100, and it'll be a lesson learned. And if I do end up having to go to Walmart, I do plan on like giving these away to the people that won them. And some of you are here tonight. And I will be mailing those. I have the tubes. And then I'm going to sell half of them too. And I should come out on top after it's all over with. But man, when I was looking at that today, usually I always look at reviews, and I urge you guys too before you go and purchase anything. But anyways, what else we got here? Eternal Servant. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Back in 2007, Steven gave his #1 fan in Japan, Hugh and me, a red Japan tour shirt. I didn't realize I hope I'm saying that right. Who was in tears, zoomed in, giving yourself away video. That is so cool. The fencing. I believe it's the Giving Yourself Away video. Steven's wearing like the Clockwork Orange outfit. Is it that one? And he's got these fencing pads on to kind of look like the Clockwork Orange people. And I actually have those. I wore them for a while, and that's one thing I do have from his videos. I don't know. That's not one of their biggest videos, but I mean, to the right fan, that might be something that they would be interested in at some point. Cemetery Gates. This lemon cherry gelato is mighty delish. Oh, sorry. What's up, Eric? That's so cool. There's a cherry festival that we played once a few years back. I want to say it was probably like 2 years ago. And man, we got out there and they had this ice cream, this cherry ice cream. It was the most amazing ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. And cherry is not a go-to flavor for me. So I was skeptical, right? But when I tried this, it blew my mind. I mean, it seemed like they had a cow out back and were just like, let's make these guys some ice cream. It was like the freshest ice cream you could ever have. And unbelievable. Yeah, look up the Cherry Festival, and if there's any way to get ice cream from there, it's going to blow your minds. Rebuilding rocket ships. Black Phillip 48. How? Black Phillip's like a resident homie here. He's like making all kinds of friends. Favorite Megadeth. Rust in Peace. Never bought anything after Cryptic Writings, which I dig. I did dig, yes. Rust in Peace was probably his biggest album. You know, Holy Wars, right, is on that. Holy Wars was pretty sick. I remember seeing I saw Megadeth on that Rust in Peace tour, I believe, and it was pretty dope. I remember Marty Friedman. I mean, he is a freaking monster on the guitar, without a doubt. He's got feel for days, and he's got really outside the box approach on his solos. All good. Everybody's different, you know. I you know, whether it's him or Angus Young, like, you're never gonna hear me discount a guitarist for over one or the other. Like, to me, it's like comparing apples and oranges. You know what I mean? And the thing I will always respect first and foremost is the riffs somebody comes up with, like, as a songwriter, and the songs they're a part of. To me, you know, same with the NAMM show. It's like guys like that are just they're more considered soloists, and it's amazing, and it is a talent, to be sure. And I'm definitely not saying anything negative about it. It's taken me 40 years of playing to be able to do some of the stuff that I could do now. I certainly couldn't do that when I was starting out at 15. I could barely keep my guitar in tune. But again, it comes back to not giving up. Ever, 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 no matter what it is, you never give up. And eventually you're going to turn around and go, what? I can play? Who would have thought? It only took 40 years. But it's just about having fun. And whether that's playing a Poison song or a Megadeth song, it's all rock and roll, and it's all fun, and you shouldn't pit guitarists against each other in that capacity. If the guy can keep his guitar in tune and entertain you on stage and write songs that you think are cool, then he's a badass guy. End of day, end of story. Is Erik related to the Count? Yes, in a distant way. I mean, you're talking like, what is it, 100 generations away, removed. But yes, we apparently have some blood. We share some blood. Tyrone Extraordinaire, right? Oh, we already mentioned that you were here and you're late. What else we got going on? Steve Lasley. As a fellow guitarist and heyday era RATT fan, I appreciate you staying true to Robin's Wanted Man solo. The ending Money Notes. Oh yeah, I do love Robin's playing. I love his tone. I always felt like that note you're talking about, like, for example, the end of Wanted Man. He's just like, it's Robin just screaming through his guitar. You know, or like Tom Schultz from Boston. You know what I mean? It's powerful to me. You know what I mean? I don't have to hit 11,000 notes at one time. I hit that one Robin Crosby note just right on the 22nd fret, bend that bad boy. Wah! To me, that's it. I love it. And of course, I'm going to play Robin solos exactly the way they go. Wouldn't change one damn note. Spicoli, Fright Bite is heading to Netflix, dude. Show rocks. Man, I don't know about Netflix, but Chris Aiken and I were talking, and I mean, it's got Tubi vibes. Cemetery Gates. Oh yeah, we talked about that. I'm all over the place tonight. We need some David Lee Roth, dude. All right, well, one David Lee Roth coming up.
Danger is my business.
Right.
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
Up your nose with the rubber hose. What else we got going on? Let me see. I feel like every time I come back to the comments, it's nowhere near where I was before. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is Cemetery Gates. Never heard of NAMM. Open to the public? No. It's not open to the public. You got to be an endorsed artist. This NAMM is mostly for merchants. It's for people that own music stores or, like purchase gear. They're these companies that have the musical equipment are trying to make sales for the year. This isn't where you're supposed to go as an aspiring musician to get endorsements, believe it or not, contrary to popular belief as young rockers think. But in my situation, anytime that I was had something going on for NAMM, it's because that company, I was already working with them, and they asked me to show up to NAMM, and they buy me a pass. Like when you're a vendor at NAMM, you have to buy those passes for your people, and then you register them. They do finally have all that really well put together for NAMM this year, because as a lot of things, we use our phones for everything, and you can actually put your NAMM like barcode thing in your Apple Wallet. So when I got there to the will call, it wasn't even my ID wasn't even really necessary. I just like pulled my phone out and it scanned it and spat out the thing, and I just walked in, easy peasy. So they got it really down there, but it's cool. As a musician walking around, of course, I was like kind of checking out what they had gear wise. One thing that's kind of weird to me is how many guitar companies are just making the same guitar, though. Like there's about 100 companies there that make a Fender Strat that look just like a Fender Strat, but the headstock's a little different, or make a Les Paul. And to me, I don't understand that. It's like, oh, we make a guitar that looks just like a Fender Strat, except it's $5,000, or we make a Gibson Les Paul looking guitar, except it's $6,000. Like, you lost me. You know what I mean? Have we run out of designs for guitars? You know what I mean? I kind of expect each company to have their design, and that's it. But I mean, there are some exceptions. I mean, there's some companies out there that kind of take the old guitar and they have their aesthetics that they put with it and color schemes, and they are cool looking. You know what I mean? Iconic Guitars comes to mind. That's a guitar company that has some cool stuff. But again, they're not. They're just selling the old designs, if you will. John Evans Ibanez had a gorgeous Steve Vai guitar at the NAMM I saw. I know you meant NAMM, not name. So many axes. Yeah, I did go by the Ibanez booth, and they did. They had a lot of guitars. They had one that was looked like it was all gold or something. Guitarists, we're all different. We don't all go for the same guitar, Ibanez, I never really connected with them for some reason. I never connected with the Ibanez gem guitars for whatever reason. I'm cool with Fenders, Gibsons. I like the Charvels. Splon makes a similar guitar that's great too. But there's some guitars I don't vibe with a PRS, very, very popular guitar. I never really vibed with those either. I don't ask me why. I just don't know. Never really got into the multi-string. Like that's once they put a seventh string on there, I'm like, ah. Maybe it's all the drugs I did back in the day. My brain wants to explode when it sees that other string. I can't handle it. I typically, if I have to do something really low, it'll be on a baritone guitar. It's just like six strings tuned really low. On the Fright Bite theme, I use a baritone actually, and it's a cheap baritone. The baritone that I used on the Fright Bite to do the theme for the Fright Bite is a Squire, and I love that. I love when you can make a guitar that's less than $100 sound good on a recording is one of the coolest things. You know who's king of that is Dennis Hill from Face to Face that plays in the project. That like he plays all Epiphones and Strats, and I love that about him. You know, that's almost punk rock in its own way, which he is. Of course, he's everything. He's a lot more than just punk rock. He's also country, and he's also Nashville-y kind of guy. He knows a lot of secrets, and I love when I run into a player, a musical brother, like almost like a musical big brother that's going to show you some cool shit. And he did that. Like we were at the rehearsal, and there was a couple songs that production wise in the studio he had used this Nashville tuning on, which requires this like specific set of strings. It's a very weird setup where the middle G string's actually like a E string or something, gauge. So like the middle one's tuned super high. I forgot what these. I had to like videotape myself hitting the notes out so I'd know what they are because I wouldn't remember him from telling me. But he gave me this a Squire at rehearsal this last Saturday, and I played it, and it was the original pickups in this Squire guitar, but the guitar itself was pretty decent. You know what I mean? Just for doing a vibey thing like that, I was with I had a clean kind of sound going, and this thing really gave some vibe to the song we were playing. We have like 3 guitarists in the band that are playing at any one given time, so you can't all be playing the same thing. So I was doing this guitar. I did what he asked me to do. I strapped this on and played it, and it was super cool. But it was a Squire. And who cares? The only downside I think to touring with guitars like that is they skimp when it comes to some of the electronics inside and the soldering and stuff. So chances are something you better be traveling with some extra parts because something might go out on you, or the jack's probably going to be crusty or whatever. You got to take care of your guitars. Speaking of which, I did stop by the Anki booth, which Anki makes the double guitar cases that I highly recommend for flying. If you're going on the road and you got to fly out, I've literally seen my Anki case. When the guys are unloading the plane and they have that conveyor belt thing, I've seen that thing just fall right off the conveyor belt and fall right onto the tarmac. And I was like, you motherfuckers. But when I picked it up, the guitar was fine. So that thing fell about 6-7 feet onto the ground, and my guitars were still good. So Anki, who is Anki? Anki is the Sumerian god that commanded Moses to build the ark. Yeah. So when they say our case is Anki, they're saying it's going to survive Armageddon. That's what they mean. Now, the only issues I had, post-pandemic was these airlines have gotten really lame with their heights of things. And before the Yankee case I had a big handle on the top that added an extra couple inches, and they would always try to charge me more for that. And I noticed when I went to the Anki booth that they have a newer model now. And the newer one's a lower profile. Like it looks a lot shorter to the ground. And I bet that's the perfect height to get it in and not have them give you a hard time in the airlines. I might throw down to get a second one because I got a lot of guitars here anyway. So I'll fill it up. Tyrone, we had a surprise party for my friend's dog. That's cool. I bet the dog had a good time. Cemetery Gates. I never heard of NAMM. Yeah, that's right. Okay, here's where I am. John Evans. Okay, Skylar, was the dog surprised, Ira? Yeah. Dogs are always happy when people are around. Cats, not so much. Cemetery base. I see what you're saying. Right on. I guess I should read these ahead of time. This looks good. Tufts Bailey. No, I never went on anything. I was referring to musicians that went and did crazy stuff like bum a joint together outside or whatever with Dave Mustaine. Yeah, as far as I know, Dave is sober. As far as I don't think he definitely used to party his ass off back in the '80s and shit. And he faced some demons with drinking or cocaine or whatever, but he threw down. I mean, honestly, it's pretty amazing that Dave Mustaine still has held it together for as much partying as he's done. Considering God, what is he's given us? He's probably been doing this for 45 years. You know what I mean? But he has his faith, and he's a strong guy, and he's been sober as far as I know. But there was a time where he smoked weed, and I always fantasize about getting high with him, as I do anybody who probably smokes. The guy, one story that I tell that's kind of, I don't know, whatever. And here's another guy that's changed. That's not the guy he was 40 years ago, right? But Tom Araya from Slayer, when Judas Priest and Slayer were on tour and they came to the San Diego Sports Arena, I was a kid. I was probably like 15 or 16 years old, and my mom didn't even want me to go to this concert. She's like, "You're not going to the Slayer?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm going." We had a payphone at our junior high school, and I remember, just so my mom wouldn't worry about me, I put the quarters and I go, "Mom, I know you told me I can't go, but I'm going. I'm going to the Judas Priest Judas Priest Painkiller. It was South of Heaven Slayer tour. I go, "I'm sorry, Mom, I'm going." And she had actually called all my friends and told all their parents that she would sue them if they gave me a ride to this concert. So what did I do? I took the bus. I took the city bus to the San Diego Sports Arena. It was like four buses I had to get on. I think it took like 4 hours to get down there. It's typically only like 30 miles away. It took 4 hours. But I was down there early enough that sound check was going on for Priest, or I heard some of Slayer sound check, and then or maybe vice versa. But at some point, Tom Araya had walked out to be around the fans out in the parking lot, or he's tripping around, and he was like kind of being a dick to people, and he turned to me and he was like, "Hey, you got any shit?" And I was like, "Oh, what? Some weed? You want some weed?" I think I had some, and he's like, "No, some meth." He was, it's like, what? I was like 15. He's all bad. Slayer asked me for meth. Nice. Anyways, but that night I ended up getting knocked unconscious because I'm not a huge dude. And as soon as the lights went off, the bong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding, I walked. I was on the floor, and all of a sudden, some older guy just came over and just punched me right in the face and knocked me out. I remember a friend of mine kind of like dragged me back, and from then on, I just kind of would buy Loge tickets up on the top. That was it for me as far as like being on the floor. Um, Let me see. Oh, okay, I already read that. Um, I'm not doing this good tonight. John O. Damn it, did it again. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it all again. Steve Barker, Eric, bro, you're a killer player. Just want to say hello. Oh, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't have any apple pie high in the sky as far as being a player. I'm confident enough. If it's rock music, I can play it. I've been doing playing professionally in a national act for over 25 years, and you know, anybody who says differently, I don't know what their motivations for saying that is. You know what I mean? Am I Steve Vai? No, and I don't want to be. I'm Erik Ferentinos. I'm not Steve Vai. Steve Vai's Steve Vai. Why do I want to be Steve Vai? And that goes the same for any other guitar player out there. Of course, we have every guitarist out there has their influences that they listen to before picking up the guitar. And for me, I've shared that many times. I mean, if you go to the earliest sounds, it would be what the music my parents had, right? So you're talking about Jimi Hendrix, you're talking about the Doors, you're talking about Fleetwood Mac, music that they had from the 60s. You're talking about Chicago. I mean, they had great albums that Steely Dan, I mean, it was just, music was so incredible, from the 60s, 70s. And of course, when I was born in 72, you're hearing stuff from the last decade as you're a kid in the car and you're hearing sounds. And, I, it's, it's eclectic, everything that I listen to. And then of course, by the late 70s, heavy metal started to become more of a thing. And when I heard, when MTV came out and I started seeing some live videos and so forth, from bands like Van Halen, So This Is Love. Like, you guys remember when the So This Is Love Van Halen video came out? Or For Those About to Rock from AC/DC, and that was all brand new stuff, and you're seeing these live clips. I mean, that blew my mind. I saw that when I saw those arena crowds and those people going crazy, and just the light shows of these heavy metal bands. I mean, I was mesmerized, just like all you guys were too. It wasn't like I was alone in this. But I mean, I just can't believe that not only did I end up getting to do some of that stuff, but that I'm still doing it way past my expiration date. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm 53 years old. I mean, most people gave it up when they were 30, or definitely 40. But there's sacrifices that are made. And I sacrificed having a family. I sacrificed serious relationships. I led a lonely life for a long time. Let me see here. Well, my super carrot, Marsha B. She's got 5 on it, folks, and she's here tonight. She's one of my best friends, and I'm very appreciative for her friendship and all her help, and she's been very helpful to me these last months, and I care about you, Marsha. You know that. Once we got here, rebuilding Raj. Oh, thank you, my friend. Super sticker. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. It's all good, man. We're just keeping the Friday night hangs going, keeping the Fright Bite going, and we take all the super chats you guys do and we just reinvest it, into the show. Whether it's getting cool stuff to give away on Dahlia's Wheel of Misfortune, or the new Mac computer to make sure the show's running smooth. We're just reinvesting it. This YouTube channel's not old, man. It's I fired it up. It did get initially made 10 years ago as Mickey Rat Madness TV or whatever, but it wasn't until September of this past year, 2025, in September, that I revived a dead channel, and I did it because it already had 100 subscribers, but in the last 3 months we've gotten it, up there. It's not quite to 2,000 yet, but I mean, it's really been a quick jump, people wise, and I'm very grateful for all of you that have shared the videos, because this kind of thing could take a long time, but it's actually been kind of quick, getting people on board with it, and all I could do is tell you I appreciate it, and I'm going to be here to hang with you guys. I told you I would. If I'm on the road, I will still try to do something live for a minute. I don't want to let you down. I think the coolest part of having a YouTube community is that your peeps know when you're going to be there, and they're going to be there too. Especially if you're all snowed in and stuff. That's the perfect time for us all to hang. Muhammad's back. I love System of a Down. You know what, Muhammad? I like him too, man. Looking back, I didn't always buy too many records after I started making records, but I always felt like if a band was doing something new, was kind of breaking the mold a little bit, I would buy their record. I did that when Tool came out with Anima. I did that when System of a Down, when their big record came out. I was like, they were kind of doing a different spin on things. There was a uniqueness to those bands and their approach to their songs to their arrangements were a little bit different. And I'm not going to say I studied, like when I say I listen to something, like I've never tried, I'm sure obviously I could play a Tool song if I wanted to, but I've never tried to learn a Tool song. I take it in differently. I just kind of take it in, you know what I mean? I just take it into my ears and my soul and my brain, you know what I mean? And that's how same with Van Halen. Like I loved Eddie Van Halen so much, before I even picked up a guitar. I loved his music and just, him and in the interviews I had seen and his stage presence and everything. But I never was good enough when I first started to like play Van Halen stuff. I just listened to it all the time, but it did kind of, fill my heart. You know what I mean? So, even some of the stuff we're doing on the new Pearcy record has its moments of Van Halen, as you always hear it, coming out a little bit. And that's it, man. But I'm not at this point, I could be a cover guy, I guess. I've been playing long enough that I could do that. But I mean, that's never was my goal, was to be a cover guy. I'm a creative and I write my stuff, and Steven knows that. And that's why we make records, man. That's why we do it. Hello from Afghanistan. Yes. A very safe place to visit. We swear. Chris Kruger, I heard Jane's is done. Jane's Addiction. Yeah, I mean, that's sad, dude. I used to love Jane's Addiction. I remember when I was in my early 20s, that was my ritual de la habitual was I would, every day before work, I would throw on that record, just smoke weed from the start of it till the end. Sometimes I would skip Been Caught Stealing because that song was on all the time. But the rest of the record I was so into back then. And so I'll always have a soft spot for Perry, and Dave Navarro is a killer, kick-ass guitarist. Also, I loved his work with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I've heard people say otherwise, but Dave was still pretty young, when he did that One Hot Minute with the Chili Peppers, and I thought it was freaking great, especially when they were so much in the public view, and that's a lot of pressure to come into a situation like that. I mean, here you're the Jane's Addiction guy, but to go into the Red Hot Chili Peppers world, that's more of a funk vibe, yet the band was trying to change a little bit too. They were trying to evolve a little bit, and I thought the timing was good for those guys to come in, and a couple of the songs they had from them I really loved at the time. So it's all good, but who knows what'll happen. Maybe those guys will start a new band and get some younger singer that kicks ass. Look at Rage Against the Machine. They did all those great albums and then didn't do anything, and then they got the Soundgarden dude and made some really kick-ass music together. Black Phillip. Yeah, speaking of young guitar virtuosos, back in the 90s as a kid, I remember one Thomas McRocklin, who was 12, and Steve Vai's protege. Every other kid shreds on that now. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, especially Japanese kids. There's Japanese children that are 3 years old that are better than probably 90% of the rock guys out there. I mean, they didn't invent it, you know what I mean? But wow, I mean, the Japanese have always been extremely impressive musically. Piano was always a huge strength musically for them. And in the last decade, guitar, and for girls, surprisingly, female guitarists just ripping and not even thinking about it. I mean, playing stuff that's I'm not even going to try some of it. You know what I mean? I'll just be happy playing my old guy guitar stuff. Anyways, I love System Down. Yeah. I say YOLO, Eric. Jerome Davis. You only live once. Well, Jerome, me and Stephen Pearcy have a song called You Only Live Twice. Which is, of course, take it from a James Bond. So he was way Steven's a huge James Bond freak, and I've told stories about that when I first met Steven when he moved in across the street from me back in 1986 or 7 or whatever, and he had a laser disc player. I've told this story. If you don't know what a laser disc player is, they're these discs. They're the size of like a vinyl record, and they were very expensive to have back then. But you'd put in the laser disc and watch these movies, and he was already a multi-platinum guy by the time he moved in across the street. So he of course had these, and he had all the James Bond movies, and we would smoke out and watch. This was only when he was off the road, which wasn't very often. You know what I mean? RATT was still, they were touring like easily 7 months out of the year, and then whatever time they had after that was just doing their records and stuff. So I'd say collectively, Steven was probably home for like maybe collectively 2 months out of the year, but when he was, we would hang out and we would watch James Bond. And around the time we were doing the second record, he was really wanting to do the where you use references from like movies of James Bond and so forth. High five, came up with View to a Thrill. I came up with that album title. Of course, originally View to a Kill, James Bond movie was very popular when I was young. That was also, I've told stories about how my dad used to have 2 VCRs, and he used to tape all the movies that we'd rent or whatever. Like if he had a VHS tape, he had the capability of duping it. He never like bootlegged it and sold it. I actually thought he was cool for doing that, but he was like, no, you're actually allowed to do this. This isn't an illegal thing if you just for yourself. I was like, oh, that's cool. But anyways, View to a Kill was one of the many movies, 80s movies that my dad had on VHS, library. He was able to like dupe the stuff at a slow speed, so he would have like a VHS tape that would have sometimes 5 and 6 movies on each tape, and View to a Kill. So that kind of came back to me when we were going, and like obviously we can't call the record View to a Kill, and I was like, View to a Thrill. And I love that because we're not violent. We're not a violent band, you know what I mean? Or, Steven's not. I can have my moments of violence. But anyway, I just thought that suited us. View to a Thrill. I just thought that was so cool. I was proud of that. And anyways, I don't know what this new album is going to be called yet, or if it's going to have, I don't want to go away too James Bond, but yeah, that record, we had that one. And then of course, You Only Live Twice, which is an actual James Bond song, but I like that riff I came up with. I thought it was good. What's this? T-Cuz, what's happening? $40 to park. What? Does Midnight Star have to sing about that? No parking on the dance floor. Yeah. Yeah, I got really worried for a second. I was like, God damn it. $40? Oh. But no, then she surprised me, and it was 25, which is, I'm used to paying 25. Like if anybody's been to the Whiskey, you park behind the Whiskey in Hollywood, it's $25. Those are super cool dudes too that work that lot. I love the guys that work behind the Whiskey. They're very nice dudes. I think it might be a family that runs that parking lot, but they're always super, super chill, and I've never had a problem parking behind the Whiskey ever in the 25 years I've driven up there to play or whatever event. Never had a problem with my car behind the Whiskey. The only thing that recently last year happened, some like garbage truck, some big truck lost its brakes on one of the side street that the Whiskey's on the corner on, and smashed into some cars that I think were employees' cars. The cars did save the Whiskey, though. The cars these weren't parked in that guy's parking lot that we park in. This was the employee area, which is a small little area that bands can kind of pull in for a minute to drop stuff off. But it's where more of the staff parks. And some of their cars got hit, but it saved the Whiskey, which has been around since the 60s. You know what I mean? Doors have played there, many legendary bands. So, man, but that's the only time I've heard of something like that happening. The Sunset Strip's always been notorious for like crazy shit that goes down. I mean, there is cars that go and crash off the sidewalk and stuff like that. No shit. At Hollywood, I would never live there. I mean, there's people that love it. There's people that have to have constant danger in their life. I'm just not one of them. Like, we're Oceanside's a little rough and tumble here, to be sure. It's not. There's people that are murdered here. There's bad things that happen, but nowhere near like Hollywood, and it hasn't gotten any better. So I would never personally live up there, but for people that need constant excitement, that's where you go to live. What else we got here tonight? A lot of people here tonight. Not snowing in OKC. That's from Skojo. Scott Johnson, what's up, brother? Oh, it is snowing there. Oh, okay. Snowing in Oklahoma. It does get cold there. That's trippy. I mean, it's so similar to Texas, but then like it doesn't snow in Texas rarely, right? Or ever. Interesting. Art Bell. I play with the singer of RATT. It's big. It is big. I mean, you know what? It's big if you were alive back then to remember and you watched it as a kid in awe on MTV, then hell yeah, it's a big deal. If you're like my nieces, they don't freaking know who RATT is or probably care, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm very proud to play with Steven. There was never once in the 25 years that I played for him that I was like, now what's next for me, man? How could I parlay this into getting into a new bigger band, dude? You know, like that never freaking happened. I already knew I won the lottery with Steven. I knew that there was something that happened with the universe or this whole life is fake and you guys are like holograms anyway or whatever it is. I don't know. But the fact that that he moved in across the street from me was like serendipity. And like, you don't slap that in the face. You know what I mean? You hang on to that with both hands for your whole life because you realize that you two guys were meant to be together. You were meant to be friends and you're going to help each other throughout your lives. And I was never going to leave him ever. Let me see here. Thomas Bailey. As long as there's no stains on them, it's all good. Rock and roll, wife beater. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Making pizzas like I like to do can be a dangerous business. You know, one thing, when I was making my pizza yesterday, I actually took the wife beater off and I went completely shirtless to make the pizza, which was, hold on, I got to get over to my media assets for a second.
Sexy times.
It was sexy times making pizza yesterday at my house. I had to get because nothing pisses me off more than having a nice clean wife beater on and then it's got pizza sauce on it. God damn it. That ain't gonna work.
Danger is my business.
It is. It really is. What else is going on here? Okay, rebuilding rocket ships. Thank you, John Evans, 1969. Been a rough couple weeks. Trying to turn things into a positive. His pops was old school. Would literally give a stranger the shirt off his back. Adults. Oh, rebuilding rocket ships. Did your dad pass away, man? If that's the case, I'm very truly sorry to hear that. It's not something you can get over quickly. That's for sure. For me, my stepdad passing away last week, I emotionally had it, and I had so many other emotional things going on in my life. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't. I had to like just take it all that and just shove it down. And if it's just shoved down for a later date. I cannot process that right now. It was so fast. He was diagnosed with cancer and was dead in 3 months. Is it that deep? Mohammed wants to know. What that? I must have missed Mohammed, I missed the first whatever you were replying to there. Adonis 1973. We're about the same age. Me and Dad found 6,000 cash in my cousin's house after he passed away. We had to clean up his body stain, empty out, and sell the house. We were hood rich for a minute. Sad we had to throw away all his stuff. It is sad. God damn it. you know, when my friend Wade that I mentioned passed away, I was talking about this earlier, and I had got a lot of his stuff. He was living in a friend of mine that owned Big Fish Studios, which was like that's where like Blink 182 recorded their earlier albums, and Megadeth recorded an album there, and you know it's in Rancho Santa Fe. It's an affluent area, and so some of like most of Wade's like he was a pack rat like I am. So most of his crap that was around, he just wanted it kind of out of there. And so I ended up with a lot of that stuff. And I also had the time to like break it down and sell it like individually. And I probably did. There probably was about 5 or 6 grand worth of stuff over time that I'd sold. And then there was a lot of stuff that when it came time for me to like move into this place 3 years ago, the Beach Mansion West, I had to finally say goodbye to some of the stuff that was his that just nobody wanted. And I really did do my diligence trying to let any old friends or family know, look, I got pictures you're in that he has. I have this. I have DAT tapes here of stuff. What anybody, I went to we had a memorial for him. We went to one of his favorite restaurants, and some of his friends and stuff. We met up, and I let all of them know that, hey, I have this stuff. Nobody wanted that shit. Nobody wanted it. And eventually it's like, I can't carry this guy's life's memories of photos of tubs of, finally I had to just dumpster that stuff, and I hated it. I hated that I had to do it. But there was stuff that was of value. I've talked about the last place that I lived in before moving here was a real rat hole apartment that I was in for 16 years. And I was one of the only white guys that was there. It was mostly Latinos. And they were actually happy when I was throwing a lot of the stuff. It was a great day for them. They were like picking up all this cool stuff that I was throwing away that was fine for them. And so that kind of made me feel good that it didn't, not all of it went to waste, but let's see here. T-Cuz wife beater looking like you just got out of the joint. It's all good. Prison rules. Your pole, their hole. Ooh. Well, does that get a
Sexy times.
No, you know what? I've been arrested lots of times, but I've never had the butthole thing. They've never even looked in my butthole. I've always like made bail. Isn't that cool? No, I've never really done anything that's that bad. You know what I mean? But most of it, I mean, to not get bail, somebody had to have died, or you had to have I don't know, a big chance of fleeing the country or something. But it was always only like $200 to go home or whatever, so it was never a question about it. But I would see that, like I'd be in the jail and I'd see the guys going, okay, bend over, spread your butt cheeks, which is so that whole thing. It's so gay. No, I mean, for some people that's awesome probably, but I don't know. For me, it was very strange, just the whole way they run the whole thing. What's this? Spicoli 420. Cool, dude. You should get him to cut your hair. He's a stylist, I think. Yeah, okay. Jerome Davis. I don't care if you love a band. It's a problem when you can't respect other people, might not feel the same about their music. You're so weird. Yeah, I think that one thing that I've come to terms with as a public figure, people are going to say things about you. I've actually had it pretty easy. I mean, I don't get too much stuff said about me. Maybe in the very beginning on Metal Sludge and stuff, when nobody knew who I was and I first joined the band, and I was just trying to figure it all out. Maybe some people said some mean things, but I got with it pretty good, and I haven't really been the butt of many things. I haven't had to deal with too much crap, but at the same time, I haven't really been. I never really would put myself out there that much. I would say that this last 3-4 months of doing the YouTube, I'm really putting myself big time out there. This isn't something that I'm normally comfortable with. Letting everybody just see me and just unscripted. It's taken a while. I thanked Chris Aiken. Recently, he came on one of these a week or two ago, and it was all the Chris Aiken presents shows that kind of got me comfortable being in front of a webcam. So I'm always grateful for him that he gave me the chance to get good at doing this. John Evans, Rock on Muhammad, Abdullah, music is universal, feel good. Yeah, I love Middle Eastern people. They love metal, and man, this planet, at least this planet that we're allowed to travel on, the sections we're allowed to be on. I personally think there's more to this, more land than what they tell us, but it's not that big of a place, guys. I mean, it really isn't. This planet Earth, not that big. They try to make it seem like that. You're just a tiny, insignificant ant. But I got more miles on my car than there are. I could drive around the world and have less miles than what are on my vehicle right now. Scott Johnson, the solo band was performing at 1,000 levels last go round. Yeah, well, you know what? I'll tell you what, man. When I come back on stage with Stephen Pearcy, I'm coming for blood. Okay, no shit. It's gonna have been 9 months by the time I take the stage. I don't know what you even call it. It's not laid off. It's not if I was furloughed, I'd have been paid this whole time. But it's kind of like I guess a temporary layoff, if you will. But when I go back on that stage with Stephen Pearcy, look the fuck out. That's all I have to say. System of a Down is good because I say so. Nice. Rat and Roll, 2002 concert in Pottsville, PA. First time wife and I met you, Stephen, drunk. But you and the drummer, I can't remember his name. His name was Todd. But you guys get blowing out power. Then late night girls walked in with something. You know what? I Pottsville, I do remember that show, and I'll tell you why I remember the Pottsville show. The reason why I remember the Pottsville show was because it was outdoors, and I think it was like, it might have been my first year in the band or the second year of the band, and we're playing this show, and it was kind of a wonky setup going on. It was kind of a low budge outdoor show kind of thing, and the whole front row of women, all at the same time, took their tops off, and they were all very like they were just very normal women. They were just like your average women. So it was kind of like, okay, it was, to me, I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was cool, but it was memorable. It was the first time I ever saw like that many that many women take their tops. And did you see that? Or were you? I guess you were behind. You might have been behind them and didn't see what was going on. But anywho, good times. Sexy times. By no means not hating on Bloss, but Jimmy Deanna is another level. Combo of hitting hard and crisp. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I'm a lucky guy. I mean, I'm playing with either guy is amazing. I've always been a Bullet Boys fan. Jimmy Deanna, I know exactly what we're talking about. He beats the shit out of the drums, and he's got, he's Latin. You know what I mean? So he's like, they got the groove, baby. Latinos, they know how to, you know what I mean? So yeah, he's got the rhythm. He's got the soul. Bloss Elias is a showman and a professional, and I mean they're both showmans and they're both professional. I think they're both awesome. They're both rock drummers. They're both known drummers, and I'm stoked to play with either one of them. You know what I mean? I think it's super dope that the Bullet Boys, that all the original Bullet Boys are together right now and playing. I think that's so cool. I used to go see them at Iguanas and TJ when I was young, and I had the Bullet Boys tape, of course, being a Van Halen fan, and then Ted Templeman produced them. They were kind of going to be the next Van Halen meets Aerosmith, Good stuff. Boobies showing. Okay, so that's the rest of your rat roll. Boobies showing, all night party, 2002 with Frankie, baby. Yeah, it was. Wow, man, me and Frankie used to tear it up. Really, I mean, I am such a good guy like now, but I don't. There's stuff. There's some stuff that I've been a part of, some freak offs. Oh my goodness. I really, if there is a heaven and you got to sit there and watch the tape of the freak offs with God and sit there and like you're going to some kind of like confessional, that's gonna be. I'm just gonna have to, just gonna have to laugh it up. Muhammad, you grow up, you're an adult, and still love Disney. Are you guys? Come on, like I haven't had to like. Don't make me have to get a moderator in here, guys. I mean, I don't have too many rules, but I want you guys to be kind to each other. Be cool and be kind to one another at all times. Or if you're not into it, just go look at other stuff. Come back later. I mean, rebuilding rocket ships. Agreed. Sounds awesome and not used to seeing you in a Les Paul. I started out with the Les Paul. It wasn't until the pandemic that I got some of that pandemic money, and I bought some. I go, what else could I buy? Oh, well, I never had the Charvels like Warren had. Maybe I'll get some Charvels and be a little more, like old school rap for reals. And so I bought like 4 of just the Mexican ones, which are really good, by the way. I can't really tell the difference between the Mexican ones and the actual American Charvels. I don't think there's too much of a difference with them. Very well made. But that's where I started doing that. That's only in the last like 5 years that anybody's seen me playing a guitar with a whammy bar on it. Michael Charvel built me a Telecaster back in 2006 that I played for a long time. It has a bunch of monsters and stuff on it. I got to get that bad boy out and show it off at some point. Black Phillip. You never think about inviting Dahlia onto Unleashed for a cool interview out of character? And yeah, Jerome Disney is for everyone, homie. Yeah, bro, that's her name. That is who she is. I'm the one who's in character or not. Dahlia's Dahlia Dark, man. She's just that is her. That is her character. I mean, her family's like the Addams family. I mean, she has a very handsome husband, and they got their whole. They're like the real deal. Let's see, Black Phil. Oh yeah, okay, same question. Justin Hayes, cool. Do you use any cool plugins for your tone? Yeah, at home when I'm messing around. I mean, I just bought all those Van Halen ones that I want to mess with for ToneX. I bought like 2 of the libraries, and I might put that into my ToneX pedal for some of the live stuff I have coming out. It wouldn't hurt to have Eddie's tone on a couple stuff, right? But I have amplitude at home. It takes me a little longer to get some good sounds out of that. It's so frustrating to me messing around and trying to go through different virtual amps. It's like, ugh. Because typically I'm the kind of guy, like, I like to get one good amp sound and just use that one all the time. But then, like, if I don't record for a month or two and then I go on, I have to update all this bullshit on my computer and start doing all these things. Another thing was, getting the new computer, and then you don't want to just like necessarily pull everything off your old computer and put it on your new computer. You want to be a little selective, because that could have a bunch of bad stuff that could slow your computer down, or things that aren't with the new operating system. So I've been carefully pulling stuff over, and it's a whole thing. I'm a little behind on, like, Sin Crazy is waiting for me to finish the song. That I'm closer to having the new computer ready to do it. I don't have too much left to do on that. I just have to redo the rhythm guitars on his thing. I already did the new solo, which he approved and liked. I just have to redo Sin Crazy's rhythm guitars. The bass is fine, and I have to sing some background vocals on it, and then I could send it off to him. So it is within a few days from that happening. Finally, jeez, I really owe that guy. I've let him down a little bit. Jerome Davis, thank you, Black Phillip. Yeah, come on, that's what I like to see. Unity. Jerome, Disney is for everyone. That's right, especially if you have a family. And Dahlia's a big Disney fan. She's got some kind of past to it or whatever. Adonis, we partied for years at Trent Reznor's Club Trilogy. It was like right out of a movie. Was that in Georgia or I can't? I'm trying to remember where Trent was living. Where was that, Adonis? That sounds pretty dope, though. I mean, I'm a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. If you might not know that, but if you watch the last Fright Bite, the whole goth dance club scene has some very like Nine Inch Nails music going on when they're dancing, and I created that for the scene. And that's another thing where like I've never played in a Nine Inch Nails cover band or anything, but I've listened to so many thousands of hours of Nine Inch Nails that I can create music like Trent Reznor, but it's definitely sounds like Trent Reznor. I mean, he'd be like, that guy's ripping me off. And it'd be true. John Evans, I know about your white LP from the vlog. How many guitars are in your collection? Oh man, if I yeah, I mean not a crazy amount, but I'd say that in my studio here, I don't know, 30 30 guitars here maybe. There's all kinds of different ones. Like I said, they're tools. They're tools for me depending on what I'm creating. Let me see here. Jerome, I love the Smashing Pumpkins. Today is the best day that I've ever lived. Tomorrow will be even better. Today ever was. Yeah. Yep. Does Facebook wants $500 a month for a full verified badge account. Paid to be somebody. What? 500? They've been offering me that for $1. $500 a month for a full verified badge account. I don't understand. Would that be if you are Trent Reznor or something? They want $500 because that's. I never paid for the thing. I mean, I don't know. I do get a little bit of money from Facebook, not enough to justify that. I mean, I'd say just from posting a couple pictures a day, maybe Facebook, maybe make $50 a month off Facebook posting stuff as a professional or whatever. I've had a couple people impersonate me on there. The funniest story, but one of my friends, Jim Martinez, will vouch for. Somebody made like an Erik Ferentinos Facebook page and was selling merch on there. Was selling Erik Ferentinos t-shirts, which I've never even thought to do. I didn't think anybody would even buy one. But my buddy Jim and his son James bought these two. They're like, hey man, we just bought a couple of your shirts. I'm like, what shirts? And that's when I realized somebody was like impersonating me. And I went through a little bit to get them shut down. But what was interesting was they actually made the shirts and mailed them to Jim. Isn't that trippy? And they looked cool and they were quality. And I was like, that is some weird shit. But that is also what made me start doing my own subscriber group on Facebook, was for that reason. That person that impersonated me there. And then, of course, I had a situation where my reputation was kind of being challenged from within, and it was just time for me to kind of get in cahoots with the fans, you know what I mean, and just kind of let you guys know what I'm all about, and kind of let you know that I'm a human being with feelings, and I'm a person, and besides being a musician and a public figure, and I just wanted you guys to know that I'm just like you guys, and we probably have a lot in common. And to not listen to people who don't know what the F they're talking about, man. Jerome Davis, I love Fright Bite. Well, Jerome, I'm so stoked to hear that. And, who's even more stoked to hear that is Dahlia. Because she loves doing the show. And, please tell everybody about it. I'm going to start, posting those short previously on, so you guys can kind of share those online so people can get a whiff of the cheesy horror. But I mean, we need laughs, dude. This life is so hard, and don't want to be gloom. You know what I mean? I gotta entertain you guys, and I want to make you laugh. Thomas Billy, does Count Cracula sleep in a coffin to avoid the sunshine and sunlight? He does. It's actually interesting. It's not a traditional coffin. It's actually a trap case that was from a Stephen Pearcy tour, and he kind of modified it into a coffin. So that's kind of interesting. Rebuilding rocket ships. I had no idea. Like Fright Bite, but I can't look away. It's amazing. It's fun stuff. Yeah, who would have thought? I mean, if you told me 3 months ago, hey, you're going to be actually taking Fright Bite to the mainstream and making your own horror movies every week, I would go, what? Fright Bite was born on the Chris Aiken Presents, and it used to just be a once a month thing that hardly anybody even knew about. It was like you had to pay to even go to it. You had to pay at least $1, and nobody knew about it. We really couldn't share it until Dahlia and I started it recently, put it on mainstream YouTube, and it's slow. It's a slow build, but people are starting to figure it out. T-Cuz, if you're like horror metal, check out Vanek, aka Commander Vanek, the former live guitarist for Midnight. The Vanek solo band kicks ass. All right, T-Cuz says check that out. And yeah, Eternal Servant. Oh yeah. Oh, I read this one already. Well, that was a cool story. Yeah, Eternal Servant had got a cool T-shirt or cool red shirt from Stephen Pearcy. So Eternal Servant knows the excitement of getting something from Stephen Pearcy that you can wear. John Evans, sorry to hear the printer company sucks. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, honestly, I'll give him a few extra days here to get me the order. But okay, here's what I think is going to happen. I think I'm going to have to pay some kind of tariff. I'm going to get a letter in the mail saying you got to pay this. And I was just so expecting, like, Dahlia is supposed to come over here for us to do a signing party. I'm still going to have her come over. We're still going to do some promo stuff this Sunday for the show, and some parts need to get filmed for this week's Fright Bite. So we're still going to do our thing. But man, when I read that today, I went, oh, this is not going how I had hoped, and it sucks when you're trying to do right by the fans and you ordered the stuff that they want and you're doing it. Anyways, thank you for your patience, everybody. And if I have to go to Walmart to make those posters for you guys, I will. In fact, if this is delayed any further, on Monday I will do that and get them out to you. I already have the tubes, as I said. Let me know when the posters are for sale. I only have pics from y'all so far. I will definitely be letting everybody know. I am going to make a different picks too for this year. I had sold out. I had told you guys the picks that you were just referring to. I had only made like 200 of those pick sets, and those are gone. They'll never be the same picks again. So yeah, collect them all. I am joking. I use Reddit every day because I have no friends. You know what, Muhammad? I have friends. You guys are my friends, but I mean, I don't know. You mean physical friends, right? That you don't probably go anywhere anymore. And I feel you. I don't have really any friends around here that I hang out with. That's why I started inviting Dahlia's family over. I'm like, hey, are we friends? Adonis, last year I had 2 ticks for Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction. I invited Erik. It said he could use his rock cred to get us backstage to hang out. It was a booming show, man. Oh my God, that would have been amazing. Smashing Pumpkins and Jane's Addiction. That is so cool. I mean, I've never got to see Jane's Addiction. I've seen Smashing Pumpkins. I took a date to the Melancholy tour. It was at the Sports Arena. Back again, of course, tickets were only $25 back then. For a show. And yeah, she was even shorter than me, and that was another, like, we got floor seats, and that's when I noticed, like, the floor sucks. If you're not tall, the floor sucks. I thought the band sounded good. I remember Billy Corgan was pretty rad at that show, but we should have gotten Loge tickets or been up on the side of the arena. Sitting on the floor just made it lame. Okay, what else is here? Mark Menenga, Traverse City, Michigan, Cherry Festival, Night Ranger, RATT, and Ted. Yes. Okay, so Mark Menenga was there, dude. Yes. Traverse City. Thank you for remembering the city. This is where that cherry ice cream is from. If you guys ever get a chance to eat this ice cream, I don't know if Mark got to try it, but I'm not overhyping it. This is the best ice cream I've ever had in the 53 years that I've been on planet Earth. Was at this cherry festival, and it was a cool show. It was in Michigan. What was that, like almost 2 years ago? It was Night Ranger. It was us. I did meet Ted Nugent that day. Ted Nugent occasionally shows up with Night Ranger to do some of the damn Yankees stuff, so it was pretty cool. Ted showed up and he had all his dogs, his like hunting dogs with him, and it was Uncle Ted. He was there. It was pretty cool, man. Thanks for reminding me. Paula in Texas making homemade seasoned ground beef tacos with all the fixins. Do you eat meat? Oh yeah. And what about jalapenos? Happy Friday night. Oh, I love it all. When are you inviting me over? Come on. No, I even geez, in our faux food, not Mexican, but the faux restaurant I went with my mom today even had some jalapenos in the soup. Oh, that was so good today. It was like a seafood faux, and it was a big ass bowl. And oh man, I just love being with my mom. We're so much alike, and it was cool. I feel like the last like 25 years, I just didn't see my mom as much. I was touring all the time, and then my sister's the one who had like the more traditional life where she had a husband with a good job and a family, and raised these two beautiful my two beautiful nieces, Madison and Chloe, and they're graduating college right now. They're my one niece Madison is taking her MCATs right now, man. How gnarly is that? I love it. I love that I'm the most uneducated guy in our family. Because you don't want a whole family of uneducated people, you know what I mean? I'm the only one that got kicked out of high school. But anyways, yum. Everybody's wanting some of your sweet meat. There was one funny story. There was one guy, I don't remember where we were, but he had some kind of like meat truck or something, and or he's like a street vendor or something. But his motto on his business card, he was like, "Yeah, I'm Ed, whatever. You can't beat my meat." That was his like. That's what it said on his card. Oh, hey, I believe it was Steven's birthday when you played the Cherry Festival. It was. And I do, if I can remember, I actually have some photos from that day. I have some photos of me and Pearcy like hanging backstage eating the cherry ice cream, and we're just like, yee. Steven loves sweets and he loves ice cream and all that stuff. It was a good freaking day, let me tell you. We're eating that shit. We're eating the shit out of that. Stone Jackson, watched a NAMM video today of an 8-string guitar. Come on, really? Oh, well then you're not going to like, the guy I showed at the end of my video, Troy Johnson, he's got a 12-string bass, Stoney. You thought an 8-string guitar is too much. He showed up with a goddamn 12-string bass once. It was when I was like, we were doing a show, we called Troy back for something, and it happened to be a gig where it was only me on guitar. And so he goes, I got a 12-string bass. I could be like the bass player and another guitar player. And I was like, okay, it was kind of weird. But Troy's trippy like that. His basses, his big Johnson basses look like goddamn Thanksgiving cornucopias, but they're original and they're cool. And he's got some amazing players that love him. And you guys should check out his website. Skylar B, homemade tacos, all fixins are delicious. Yes, yes, yes. Ticas, do you like Jimmy Bauer? Dude plays Gibson Sonex El Cheapo and takes the 2 high strings off altogether. Yeah. God, who else does that? Does Keith Richards do that? I feel like he might. Will, rad guitarist, says, whoa, will there be a Pearcy solo tour this year? Well, there is 5 shows that I've been hired on to do. Will more be added? I don't know. The 5 that are happening are all pretty badass, and some of them are pretty big gigs. So I better practice a little bit for them and make sure I keep staying healthy and ready to rock when those come. But I'm doing all kinds of stuff. As if you didn't catch earlier, I'm also in April going on tour with Pump5 and the Texas Hippie Coalition. So I'll be sharing dates for that. Then Bad Marriage and the Project are going to start doing shows. We have the same agent, so you can start seeing our bands out doing stuff. Uncle Droney, I like your wife beater. Oh, where's my beer? Yeah, wife beaters are the shit. No, I recently said, I was like, man, I'm going back to the 90s. We're just going wife beaters. I might even have to get one of those wallet keychains. Again, I saw Priest in 1982 screaming for vengeance. Yeah, God damn, that was a good tour. 1982, Judas Priest. That must have just been insane. I don't know. You don't look that old, Uncle Droney. You must have been young, man. What do you got? Like an older brother? Did your parents like metal or something? I mean, what were you like, 9 or something when you went to that? Tell us what's up. Skylar, effing Slayer. You got any meth? You got any meth for me? I should, if I ever run into Tom Araya, I'm gonna give him shit for that. Love Slayer. No, so do I. I mean, Slayer was probably the most satanic stuff I ever I ever listened to. Raining Blood. City Bus. Slayer South of Heaven, Santa Cruz. Yeah, man, I took the city bus to see Slayer. But hey, man, that's pretty cool. How many people? I mean, these kids nowadays still love Slayer and all the big four bands. And I mean, to know that, yeah, I was at the Slayer South of Heaven tour. Yeah, I was at the And Justice for All Metallica show. You know, I love that. I mean, that was one of my favorite concerts. I've talked about that one, and you can watch it on YouTube when Metallica played their on the Justice tour, and they played Irvine Meadows. That was good times, man. Those were the days. Steve Lasley, my brother got me a Screaming for Vengeance concert t-shirt. He bought the one hanging on the board, not knowing it was kid sized. I was 12, so I got it. Oh, that's funny. He didn't do like the half belly shirts. Remember, like in the 70s, guys would wear like the t-shirts and their belly would be like exposed, and then they'd wear the knee high socks with the stripes and some really short shorts. Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. Rock the boat, Adonis. Don't tip the boat over. Rock the boat, rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat, rock the boat. You know, it's funny. Rock the boat. That's like one of the first songs my little kid ears remember hearing. Like if I had to like think back, if you guys had to like do some, not a past life regression, but just your current life regression, and think about the first time you heard music in, you know, and there's just something about Rock the Boat. That song sticks with me. In my parents' VW, my dad had a VW Bug and it had a shitty radio in it, but they had that song turned up. I just remember sitting in the back of that loud ass Beetle that my dad had. It was like a 68 Beetle or something. And, you know, that song was on, Rock the Boat. And it was a pretty catchy tune at the time, but it was rock the boat, baby, rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. And it just stuck with me. And I mean, it was a happy song. That song's very happy, you know, it has a happy vibe to it. And it sticks with me. Like, that's one of my first songs I remember. Also, Carol Carpenter, whenever I hear a Carol Carpenter song, I always think of my mother. It makes me think of my mom for some reason. Let me see. Adonis. Oh yeah, we're rocking the boat tonight. Thomas Bailey, I got an idea. How about if everyone in this live stream hit that like button and show Erik some love and help his algorithms? Yes, will you help my algorithms, everyone? My algorithms are failing tonight, and it's because no one's hitting the like button. Jim, there's my buddy Jim. No more lonely nights, brother. We care about you, man. Yeah. Oh, Jim, I was telling him about the Erik Ferentinos shirts. That looked really good, right? You got a good deal on those. I wasn't mad. These guys him and his son are so supportive of me. I love these two guys. And man, you want to see some dudes catch some fish? Jim Martinez. Okay, if the world ever goes to shit, I'm gonna go with Jim Martinez, because this guy will be eating like 10 the biggest fish you've ever seen every day. These guys, him and his son, they don't know how to not catch fish. Okay, so there's certain people I take note on, like if the shit hits the fan, who I'm gonna hang with, and definitely him and his son are one of them. The Guru sent me great interview. Well, thank you, Lane J314. Love Anthony. The biggest Anthony fan is Stevie Rochelle, though, of Metal Sludge. Stevie loves Anthony, and he loves the hair metal guru. He loves all his interviews. The Robbie Crane one's super great. If you haven't seen that, oh my god, Robbie Crane can dish some sludge. Let me tell you, I love Robbie. I gotta tell you, as far as all the RATT guys, and he's definitely a RATT member. Robbie is so kind to me. Robbie Crane has always been nothing but friendly, nothing but cool, nothing but uplifting and positive, and has never made me feel like I wasn't good enough. He's never ever made me feel that way. And every so often, he will even give me a call and tell me something I need to hear. And he's sometimes you come across people in your life that happen to give you a call and say something to you right at a time when you need it the most. And that's that dude right there. He's such good people. And who, if you ever hear somebody say that they don't like Robbie Crane, just punch that motherfucker right in the face, because I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Rebuilding Rapture, you're good at this, Eric. As Jim Martinez says, we all love you. Thank you. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Rebuilding Rapture, the guru he's good fun. Yeah. Yep. Stinkfist is a song by Tool, Thomas Bailey. Yeah, you might not have heard this, but as I mentioned, when my stepdad died last week, his good friend Janet Hafner, that did a Spanish teaching show here. If you're from North County, San Diego, you would have seen them doing their Spanish over Palomar College years ago in the 80s. Her son Chris Hafner did the Stinkfist video. So when you watch that, I want you to think of my stepdad and Janet, and that Chris Hafner, that's his mom and my stepdad. When you watch those Tool videos from that record, he actually did all the ones off Anima, and they're pretty cutting edge. The story has a sad ending because Chris Hafner took his life. So sad ending. Sorry, guys. Thomas Bailey, Dave Navarro's mother was murdered by a psycho. It was featured on America's Most Wanted. Yeah, that's very tough, and it's even tougher when you know that the public knows that. You know what I mean? But that always, I was a big Jane's Addiction fan before knowing that. I mean, that was something I found out kind of later in life, but it made me love Dave even more, that he overcame such a loss that you can never fill. A kid needs his mom so much, and I sometimes even more than a girl might. A boy needs his mom. And killer tune, you only live twice. That's right, Skojo. You got a good taste in music. John Evans, laser discs were cutting edge back then. Oh yeah, man. He was living it up. Thomas Bailey, Duran Duran did the song for that James Bond song. It wasn't very good though. Not like Wild Boys. I was joking with or Count Crocula was joking with Dahlia about Wild Boys, because that one's no, it's not one of my favorite. View to a Kill, right? Have you guys heard the Pearcy cover I did with him for Girls on Film? It's outrageous. I'm actually doing some of the backgrounds on that. But yeah, we did. It was me, Steven, and Matt did a cover of Duran Duran, Girls on Film. You can find that Steven has a video for it on YouTube, and yeah, it's all my guitars on there as per the usual. Same with these records, y'all. You go to the record store and pick up this. This is all your buddy Eric, with the exception the late Chris Hager. Some of his guitars are on I Know I'm Crazy. Some of the verse feel guitars is Chris Hager on that, and rest in peace, Chris. And then of course we were tonight talking about View to a Thrill. Again, these are all my guitars on the record. So when people tell you I suck, tell them to go suck a dick, because they don't know what they're talking about. And then Mickey Ratt, right? Okay, now we know what's going on, and now we're ready for the next Stephen Pearcy record, which is in production as we speak. David Crasso, Austin is going to get an ice storm. Oh my God, batten the hatches, guys. Stay off the road. I hope you survive it. Dale Groot, don't even know what is going on. Just have on live. But T-Ops were the best invention ever. T-Tops, excuse me. T-Tops. I thought it said T-Ops because I'm going blind. I could see I'm going blind. Did you know Korn opened up for my band Voodoo back in the day? That's an interesting story. Fieldy, the bass player Fieldy, called me a Bon Jovi F word, and it wasn't the Fuck word. It was the word I'm not going to say because I have a large percentage of my audience is gay. It was the other F word. Yeah. No, but he admits that he was a dick back then. He's sure he's a different guy now. Rebuilding Rochester. Remember to like the live as I think it helps. Yes, it does. Any likes, just telling people about the show is cool. Thomas Bailey, losing a loved one always sucks, especially at Christmas time. But at least they aren't suffering anymore. But if they have $1 million, what's that say? Life insurance policy, it helps. No, like my stepdad Carlos didn't have $1 million life thing. I mean, he had his own kids and he was divorced. You know how that works, right? For the men out there that have been through a divorce. But his my stepbrothers who were they will stay in my life. My stepdad's kids will stay in my life moving forward. But they have their mom's house and stuff. They have their properties and stuff, and but no, I mean there wasn't much I think left. You know what I mean? Afterwards, I think there was some clothing and things. I did. I got one of his jackets. I got a cool like kind of military jacket from Carlos. That's kind of cool, and I've been wearing it and stuff, and it's kind of neat that it belonged to him. But I'm with you on that, like the suffering, and I talked to my mom today, and she's very lonely. 40 years they were inseparable, for 40 years. But when anyone's in bad health, it's like you're a nurse, So if there's a bright side, for her and meeting her today, that she's looking forward to, going to the gym with her friends and, maybe being a little more active than she was that's super important. Because if you don't use it, what happens? You're going to lose it. That's right. And that's why I want to make sure all you guys are at least doing a prison workout at home or going outside if it's not too cold, and getting some exercise. Don't live a sedentary lifestyle. It's not just getting old. You want to be old and healthy, right? Because if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you're young or old. It sucks, and you wish you were dead. And I don't want that for any of you guys. Thomas Bailey, I've had to bend over and cough with a guard. Interesting plastic gloves. Oh, yeah, no. Nope. John Evans, oh, you're cracking me up. That whole butthole thing. God damn, bro. Yeah. No, they've never gone up my butthole. The police, the popo, they haven't had the pleasure of that. And no, I don't plan on committing any crimes that I can't post bail for. You know what I mean? I don't even go out anymore, to be honest. Fingers with plastic gloves on them. Cue the Diamond David Lee Roth sound effect. I don't think I do the yeah. Maybe the first part of that scream. Yeah, anyways.
Sexy times.
Back at you. What else we got going on? Let's see. Those Tikas, that's a lot of memories, dude. Yeah. Thanks for the memories, everybody. That's what that 80s rock music brings out, all the memories, right? Another great live, Eric. Thanks, and everyone have a blessed weekend. Yes, John, thank you for your blessing. We all appreciate. Kevin Smith, see you on the Fright Bite. Yes, I'll see you on the Fright Bite. Mexican charbels are on point. I agree, says Rebuilding Rocket Ships. Woo! I'm so glad you guys are all like, God, it's like the most comments I've ever got on a Friday night. Fake account better not have been selling sea glass. No, sea glass is more rare. You're not going to probably see anybody selling fake sea glass. Sea glass hunters, I actually, like 3 months ago, I stopped doing the show because I was focusing on this channel, but I do have sea glass hunter stuff. And one of the fun things I want to do with my mom was have her come over and help me start making more of the treasure boxes. And let me go to my media assets here. Because I was going to go... Oh, let me make sure I got this popped open or it's not going to work. Hold on. Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to put a David Lee Roth sound card so when it opens up, it goes, yeah. I can't do a Roth scream right now. Wow. Anyways, this is full of sea glass. But yeah, I make these little treasure boxes and, put shells and stuff that I find. And I was going to, maybe sell some of these, but I was going to have my mom come and do like arts and crafts with mom. Did you guys ever do like arts and crafts with your mom when you're a little kid? That's good stuff. Those are good. Those are the best times you're ever going to have because life just gets harder and shittier from then on. But I thought we would just kind of relive that. I'm going to start inviting her over to hang out and do arts and crafts and stuff. Pool time with Ron sounds great. I'm prepped for the Isamageddon staying warm. We got a lot of Texas peeps tonight. That's cool. It seems like my demographic is Florida, Texas, and Ohio. And of course, Skojo's in OKC, What's it say? He goes, damn, this is the longest hangout freak up. All right, is that a hint? Do I need to, I mean, I don't know. You guys keep having all this stuff to say. I'm gonna keep hanging. I don't know what to do about it. Am I supposed to leave? You want me to hang it up? I will. Thomas Bailey, Naro hair remover commercial. We wear short shorts. Oh, those were some horny commercials back then, right? Our freak off apparel is getting worn. Yay! Yeah, Cat Slayer and Cannibal Corpse pits are a good place to get concussions or crippled in the 90s. No joke. Yeah, no thanks. After that Slayer concert that I got knocked out at, where Tom Araya was trying to score meth off me when I was 14, yeah, that was good for me. I was like not wanting to get in no pits. Plus, I used to go see like Testament. That was another awesome band. I'd see Testament. They would play like theaters and stuff, and people would just rip the seats out of the theaters when those guys would play. It would get pretty gnarly. A lot of dudes at those shows. Let's see. Eric, cool shades. We are similar age. Are your eyes just perfect or what? My eyes, eyes perfect. I don't know. Should I take these off? My eyes. I don't know. My vision. I don't have. So far, I don't have reading glasses or anything. They're just all natural. Robbie Crane, one is Flame. Yeah. Oh, no, Robbie Crane is a real one. Yeah, he's a real one. As is Anthony Esposito. Yeah, I watched some of the Anthony Esposito because I saw him play with Lynch Mob back at Iguanas. That was another like Iguanas band, Bullet Boys. Lynch Mob. I used to go down and god damn it. I mean, those shows down at Iguanas in Mexico, if you know, back in the late 80s, early 90s, holy shit. That place went off. It was gnarly. You just like, we used to like park at a shopping center on the US side and walk across and then pay for a cab to go to that place. And it was the coolest gig, but man, it was nutty. I'm back, guys. Hi, Jerome's back. Okay, what's this? Eric, did you know there's an island we are not allowed to visit because there's a tribe there still living like ancient times? Going back to your comment about believing there's more to this planet. Yeah, I think so. I mentioned Admiral Byrd historically. You can look into some of his missions, but he claims that in Antarctica, in one of the missions, they found a whole land like bigger than the United States that had all these assets, plutonium, gold, you name it, they had it there. And that was part of the reason why the Antarctic Treaty was signed by all the countries. Just something trippy happened back in the 1950s and they just shut down the inner part of Antarctica. They just shut it down. And yes, you can explore a good amount of Antarctica, the beginning parts, but I mean, it really wasn't until the 1950s that they even had ice-breaking ships to get that far to actually check out the planet for what it is. And we're still kind of doing that today in a lot of ways. I've talked to people that work for JPL and Google and things like that. And it's, I mean, they use, I mean, you guys are going to get me in trouble because some people hate the stuff I talk about that's not rock music. So I'm going to stop myself now since I have control of my emotional state, and I'm going to stop. But just in regards, if you go by the government, Admiral Byrd, the youngest admiral in history, I think, he says that there's more land out there than what they're telling us, and that there's like mammoths and stuff out there. And it's interesting. It makes me think it's possible that that maybe. Do you ever? I always like to quote, M. Night Shyamalan, or not quote him, but reference him. M. Night Shyamalan's made some amazing movies. They like, you might not appreciate them unless you look deeper into them. But The Village is a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. The basis of the movie, the premise of the movie is that these rich elites that experienced a murder in their family, they didn't want their kids to grow up in the cruel world that's out there, so they decided to make an area for their families and basically lie to them and say that it was like the 1800s. Like, and so they were living like with candles and like just they paid off the government to keep planes and air traffic away. You don't realize this in the beginning of the movie, and I'm sorry to spoiler alert it, but what am I getting at? What's the point I'm trying to make is you really only know what you're told. You know what I mean? And so if there is a whole nother thing going on, they're probably not going to tell you about it. You know what I mean? How do we know it's really 2026? You know what I mean? We only know because that's what we're told, and we've only lived here for whatever, how many years. I've been here 53 years. I just know what they told me. But hey, maybe that's not what year it is. Maybe they're bullshitting us. Maybe there's a lot more going on. I keep an open mind to it. I don't go head first into any one thing, but definitely whatever the government tells me, I don't believe at all. I'll take parts of it and, think about it. Steve, saw a video of those tribes, Jerome, when I saw they were freaked out by seeing white guys in their cameras. Yeah, that's the case. But too, with AI, like I've seen some tribe video, and I don't even think that was a legit picture, guys. Okay. I think nowadays most of the stuff you're seeing is not even a real picture. But yes, there's tribes that haven't seen too many people. Jerome Davis, it's 2026 because numbers are man-made concept. That's right. Well, guys, wow.
Sexy times.
What a Friday night this has been. I feel like I don't know, like I need a glass of water, man. I've been talking. I'm a motor mouth. Damn motor mouth. This was a lot of fun, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah, pretty princess.
Yeah, I'm a pretty princess. I will see you guys Tuesday for the Fright Bite, and Dahlia Dark will be there. Tell your friends, man. Tell your kids. Bring your kids. What does Dave Chappelle say? Anyways, but hey, I love you guys. Be cool. Be kind to one another, and good things are on the horizon. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.